Hello and welcome to the Computer Game Show. My name's David Turner. I'm here with James Farley,
Hello.
Matt Murray,
Hello.
and Sean Bell.
Hey up.
We're going to start the show, as we always start the show, by thanking our Patreon producers this month. They are The QuickBooks Chap, Simon Nelson, Moomin Biscuit, Trans Rights are Human Rights, Dave Ernsberger, Colin Brown, Gazman, Rocketman76, Grey Dragon Claw, Smooth Monkey, Colin Smith, Richard Sawyer, John Tempelli, Jackie Sniper, Gordon Garrow, Safe as Records, Sam Higton, Freelance Police, Jonathan Edwards, and happy birthday, James S. from Tom S. They're the Full Nels crew. They went full Nels, and you can do too by going to patreon.com/TCGS. Big shout out to the Full Nels crew this month. We appreciate you. We appreciate you. But if you don't want to go full Nels, there are various different tiers. We got, for the people that sign up for the podcast here, we got an interesting one coming up. James is going to edit a show, and fear not, it's not going to be our main bonus show. This is a cheeky extra for you this month. We're going to do a 15-minute podcast, and James has to edit it just to time it out. Because you've never edited a podcast at all, right?
No, I've never done this before.
Your entire life.
And
Are you
broadly
like-
speaking, do you think you have an idea of how to do it, or you genuinely?
Yes,
Okay.
I think I know what to do. I've got a vague idea,
Okay.
but are you going to mess with it to make it more difficult for me or
No,
something?
we'll just send you
No.
our audio, and
Yeah.
you've
No,
just got
but
to
you're
work.
just
We're
gonna
not going to
make it-
help you though. I think
Yeah.
that's the rule.
Yeah,
we're not
we're not
going to
allowed to
tell
offer
you
any
how to
advice
do
or
it.
anything.
You need to do it.
Yeah.
Are you
Um,
going to be like
I've got a
talking
feeling
all
we're
over
gonna get-
yourself and everything?
We're going to get. Are we going to be talking all over ourselves?
Yeah,
That's what we
yeah.
do anyway, and we still,
Yeah.
you still have
That
to
is
work it out,
standard.
right?
As a
That is
standard editing
standard.
difficulty.
I've got a feeling it's going to come back like a Capone Adam edit. Like he's going to try and do some real avant-garde shit.
Yeah.
because then we can't accuse him of getting it wrong, because it's a skit, isn't it?
Yeah, it's going to be beds upon beds upon beds. Jingles.
I'm pretty sure we can
Stings.
accuse him of getting it wrong. Don't worry about it. Right.
It's great 'cause it means, we can share the editing duties around. And also, James has got like 6 years worth of, or 7 years worth of not editing. So there's going to be a lot
Yeah,
coming
that's true.
James's way.
Bit catching up for us,
A lot
James.
catching up to be done.
Looking forward to it.
Patreon.com/TCGS if you want to help support the show. We really appreciate it. We've got a little bit of news. We can eke out a little bit more news here on TCGS Con North. Some people have been asking us where it actually is in Sunderland. Well, we can reveal it's at Laser Quest Sunderland, which is 30 to 32 John Street. So if you Google that, you can find it. We can't wait. It's coming up. It's going to come around pretty quickly, isn't it? 1st of July. Tickets are on sale soon. We're not ready to announce when the tickets are on sale, but keep your eye and out and ears open. Does that work?
Yep.
I will tell you this. The ticket includes at least 2 games of Laser Quest, 1 round of Crazy Mini Golf, and In the Quizzing live. Not even mentioning the after party. Yeah? Yeah?
Best bit.
We'll be having an after party, have a little bit of a party after In the Quizzing
Is
live.
it going to be cake?
I don't know, actually. Have we thought about some of the
Probably not
bring
going to
cake?
bring edibles.
See how many tickets we sell. If it's under a certain amount, we'll do a cake.
Well, is that the thing?
If we sell 100 tickets, you're not dividing a cake into 100 pieces. Fuck that.
I mean, we've been talking about how many tickets we're going to sell.
It's a complete
because
unknown again, isn't it?
It is a complete unknown again.
Because but most people would probably think, well, you already did one, that was successful, so surely you would assume the same again. But you're like, no, because there's variables, isn't there?
There are variables. We
There's
are
always
very north.
variables.
We're very north, aren't we?
Very north, and
that's a
also
concern.
the world is worse than it was a year ago,
Yes.
incredibly.
That's true. That's true. But please come. Please come. Keep an eye out. And join us at TCGS Con 2023 North.
Yeah.
Is what we're
We're
calling it.
hoping to have our tickets on sale in the next couple of weeks or so, but just keep an ear out. We'll announce it on the pod and on socials. But hopefully in the next couple of weeks we'll have them ready for everyone.
Totally our fault as well, because the people that run Laser Quest in Sheffield. I mean, we've
This was pitched to us a long time ago, wasn't it?
Laser Quest in Sunderland. It was pitched to us a long time ago, and we have failed to get our asses moving. I think one of the I don't know if you've noticed, but now I'm a football manager now, Sean, officially.
Do
I mean,
you?
I need my DBS checks,
Yeah.
but I don't know if did I show you my notes from the trials, James?
No, you did not.
Oh, I'm gonna have to show you because you
That
will
little delay
wet
was
yourself.
James unmuting his microphone,
Yeah.
everyone.
Yeah.
He's already checked out. We've been going 5 minutes and 47 seconds.
I just don't want there to be extraneous noise on the audio, Sean. I'm
Well,
doing
just
this
don't
for
make
the,
any extraneous noise.
do you want me to? Do you want me to go and tell the children to not make any extraneous noise, Sean?
Yes.
Is that what you want me to do?
Yeah, do
Well,
it
you
now.
have done
Have a
before.
shout,
We've seen
Wait,
you
wait, hold
bollock
on.
them.
Are you talking about your children or the children? Because there's a big difference there. I don't know what you're talking about. Are they all playing outside your window? on
I'm
the
talking
fifth
about
floor?
my children.
Pesky
Right,
neighbourhood
yeah.
teens
Okay.
pranking you.
Should we get on to feedback from last week's show? It's the first time we've been back together for a long time, so I'm assuming they all loved it. Did they, Matt?
Mostly, yeah. Dan
Were
Shelby.
you, were you telling off the children, Matt? Were
I
you
was
just telling off
swallowing.
the children now?
Swallowing. I had that in the other one time. Dan Shelby, Rebroken Games Chat. I loved your episode last week because you seriously considered the situation with game patches. Every time I bring up the topic to clerks at CEX, they all just shrug and say that's how games are being released today. Personally, it's been 10 years since I last patched any of my games. The last one was
Fucking hell,
GTA.
what?
Last one was GTA 4 on the PS3. GTA 4, GTA 5? Which one's that? That's 5.
GTA
GTA 5 on the
Matt.
PS3. I refuse to help developers and publishers finish their games using my bandwidth. Love the show, by the way.
Yeah, you're really helping them out.
Yeah,
Really pulling your
That was
weight.
great.
I'll put a shift.
Do you reckon
and
he's
use
still
my...
sitting in front of Cyberpunk and No Man's Sky and just crying? Do you know what I mean? What a world. What
is-
a world to live in.
Yeah, I wasn't sure if this was real.
I think it's a
or
great
not.
idea.
Do you?
Yeah, why not?
No, you don't.
I mean, he must no. He's because okay. Sometimes people feel that the original releases of stuff before they get patched can be superior as well.
No, they don't. No one feels
Not
that.
often.
When?
I mean, there's times when, so like GTA 4, for example, like some songs got removed from it after a few
Yeah.
years, because licensing agreements ran out and stuff.
Yeah.
Like that's shit. There's like you can't play that game. I mean, no one plays it in multiplayer anymore anyway, I imagine. But point is, you can no longer play the multiplayer as it was originally made with the songs that it was supposed to be in it. But other than that, I can't think
James,
of many.
mention a game. Go on, give us an example of a game that's been patched and made worse.
Well, I can't off the top of my head.
Nah,
but I'm
stop
sure there has
stepping up
been.
to the plate.
No,
I'm sure there has been one.
Yeah. Come on, there's definitely been games that have come out that have been made worse through patches.
Sure, but you said there's
Oh,
people
a new
that
tab's
prefer it
opened.
that way. I don't
The
think
new
that's
tab
it.
is open. I can see in James's face.
Jinx
I mean,
the
in the
dots.
chat, Chod is saying that
Can
Last
you
Guardian.
stop all fucking me around? But I'm just sitting here participating in this, and everyone's just like watching to see what I'm up to. It's like just because I haven't paid out for a ring light for like David, so you can see when I've changed the
Paid
stuff.
out for it. I think I paid £4 for this.
I mean, we
James.
do all
Which
get
one
paid
is
the
it,
same
Dave?
for
'Cause I'd
doing
like to
this,
get one.
James.
Yeah.
Just saying.
Sean, have you noticed that when you go to like fun fairs and stuff, they're now they're now prizes at Hook a Duck. It's ring lights. I'm not even
Really?
kidding. Yeah, behind the thing because it's
Start
like
your career as an
I
internet
know.
celeb.
Yeah, it's mad, isn't it?
Chod in the chat was just saying Last Guardian apparently pre-patch was 60 FPS.
I don't think it ever hit 60 FPS though,
was
Chod, and
gonna
that's
say,
probably
it
why they
seems-
patched it out, mate.
Yeah.
That game, honestly, and the people that defend it, it's infuriating.
Yeah.
It was fine for me. Was it?
Good for you.
Was it? I
That
mean,
makes one of us.
terrible game. Next.
Glop Shito has messaged. Hi, lads.
Go on,
With the
Glop,
chat about the inconsistent naming of Fallen Order / Jedi Survivor as a series, wanted to say it seems fittingly Star Wars to absolutely not give a fuck about sticking to a title style. This one pales in comparison.
Can I just stop there quick? We weren't talking about the inconsistent name of Fallen Order and Jedi
No, it was
Survivor.
perfectly consistent.
consistent.
Yeah.
but James's argument was consistently wrong. Which
There
is
was, there was a weird expectation
consistency
of
a bit odd.
inconsistency on our part, but that was
sorry, go on. Continue.
This one pales in comparison to the Jedi Knight series, which started with Star Wars, Dark Forces, then went to Star Wars Jedi Knight, Dark Forces 2, followed by Star Wars Jedi Knight 2, Jedi Outcast, before ending on the numberless Star Wars Jedi Knight, Jedi Academy. It's up there with the early Assassin's Creed and Fast and the Furiouses in terms of names plucked from a tombola.
Well, this is
Well,
it.
this is
I mean,
weird,
I
'cause
sent you. Go on.
We had this conversation, didn't we, this week?
Yeah.
Exactly this conversation. I sent Sean didn't know about it, but I sent Sean a list of the Fast and Furious films and what they're called. And should we run through them now? I've got them in front of me.
Go for it.
So it starts with the Fast and the Furious. Okay. Then Too Fast, the number 2 Fast, then number 2 Furious, Too Fast, Too Furious.
Yeah, great pun.
Third one, Fast and Furious. Next one, Fast 5. I think they've missed one out here, but Fast 5. Then Fast and Furious 6.
Yeah, because Tokyo Drift was the 4th one, wasn't it?
The
Oh, was
Fast. Oh yeah,
Hang on,
because
hang on.
that's actually
Tell me-
back. The Fast and the Furious Tokyo Drift was 2006.
Please tell me there's a Faster Furious.
Well, listen, you've got Fast and Furious 6, and then you've got Furious 7 with the number 7. Then the one after that, James, The Fate of the Furious. Right?
But it's not
The
even.
one
It's not like F8, the number, is it?
No.
It's just fate. Yeah.
The one after that, Fast and Furious presents Hobbs and Shaw.
What?
Yeah.
That was
The
a
next
side
one-
one. But
So
yeah,
the
spin-off.
last one, you think they'd be working towards some consistency here, James, right? Ready?
Yeah.
The last film, not the one that's coming out, but the last film, F9. And this one's called Fast X.
Okay.
So Hobbs and Shaw
Yeah,
isn't
Fast
part
10.
of the.
Is it not?
Because
It's not a
they skip
mainline film.
because that doesn't count. I
Yeah,
guess.
that's
Is
a-
it,
yeah,
is it
that's
still
a
part
side
of the
one.
Fast and Furious
know.
cinematic universe, though?
But
Yeah.
here's the thing, though, Sean. None of those should count. I mean, they're all that Hobbs and Shaw might as well be part of the main series.
I was going to
You
say because it is
wouldn't know.
one story. It's not like there was a reboot at any point, right? As far as
No,
I'm
I
aware,
don't think
it's
there
all
was,
one
was there?
thing.
Oh God, we've got that to come, haven't we? We've got a reboot. Oh, do you know the one that gets me? When are they going to reboot like A New Hope? When are they going to redo that?
Well, they did.
They couldn't do that. I suppose yeah. Technically,
Go on next.
One side note here from Glup Shito. Every time the Jedi Survivor title screen pops up, I get Survivor by Destiny's Child stuck in my head. So I want to pass it on to listeners so they can deal with the same issue. Skylar from South Dakota. I'm a relatively new listener since November. I found your podcast because I wanted to listen to a pod dedicated to PC games.
Oh God.
Uh-oh.
Even though
Sorry, isn't it? Yeah.
all you talk about is how loud your big ass PS5s are, I was charmed by you.
You charmed me.
I subscribed to a YouTube channel recently and saw your beautiful faces for the first time. I always imagined Dave to look like Sean Astin.
It's Sean Astin.
It's
He's Sean, I'm googling now. Sean
it's
Astin.
it's Perry from Lord of the Rings.
That's not far off. That's about right, isn't it? Is that Mouth from Goonies?
No.
No,
It's
Oh, is that
it's
something that looks a bit like
It's
Mouth
what's his
from
name? The kid from not the kid from Goonies. That's ridiculous.
what's happened?
He's the dog from 101 Dalmatians.
Also known as Dog.
James,
What?
Sean Astin is in California Man.
Yes, he is. He is in California, man. Yeah.
Oh my god!
I meant to say because that came. I completely forgot this was ages ago now. The Oscars when Everything Everywhere all at Once was
Right.
winning stuff, and The Whale was, and there was there was all the chat about how shit I've forgotten his name. The guy who won the Best Supporting Actor for Everything Everywhere
Yeah.
at Once, and he was and like so him and Brenda Fraser were like because like 30 years ago we were both in this film Encino Man, and I was like that's not his real name.
Yeah, it's not its real name. No.
We'll carry on from Scarlett. You recently mentioned The Lion King on the Super Nintendo, and it reminded me about playing Aladdin with my big sister
Yeah.
while we were kids. It was a very pleasant memory. Thank you so much for existing on this earth at this time in history. You're doing great.
Hang on, hang on.
Thanks,
Thanks,
Skylar.
Skylar.
Appreciate you all. And that game.
Wait. They were hang on. They were playing Aladdin on the Super Nintendo, not the Mega Drive version.
Yeah, okay, but allow it. Not everyone had both.
Don't ruin their
James.
memories.
No.
Fucking hell.
That was the inferior version.
It's a very
Yeah, I
pleasant
know, but
memory,
you only knew
James.
that because Mummy and Daddy bought you both consoles and a
I
copy
did
for
not.
each console.
I did not have both consoles. I
You
only had the
sat
Mega
there,
Drive.
gluttonous, switching between both copies.
Yeah.
This is outrageous.
Counting the
I had,
frames.
Like
I had
a
a Mega
child's
Drive. I had a Mega Drive with
version of
8
Digital
games. That's
Foundry.
all I had the whole time.
Slagging off
8
the poor
games
people
at
in your
once, I bet.
village.
Didn't even have to trade any in to get more. But you never rented.
Did you
either.
really need the second copy? Yes, it was the last one in the shop, and I didn't want the poor children to play it on Christmas Day.
Arsehole.
the
This is
end
so-
of all
this
the
is-
other boys.
This is utter slander. Like every
Timmy will
time.
get it.
That was, I mean, you go back and play that though. It's honestly fucking hell. Like that game. If there's one game that gives me nostalgia more than any other, it's probably Aladdin. Like I go back to it and I look at it and I'm like, I'll just go back to being a kid again. It's nuts. Street rat. I don't want that. Wait, okay, should we move on to me?
Yeah. Alex79. Hello there. I would like to lodge a formal complaint about Matthew Murray and his fast and loose rules when reading out feedback.
Upheld.
Last week I sent in a perfectly honed skit about James and a bus analogy, the likes of which Stuart Lee or Daniel Kitson would have been proud of. Matt read out the feedback. However, as he got close to the punchline on which the whole bit was relying, he decided to say, and it goes on, instead of reading out the last sentence. I mean, it was going on and on, Alex. I was trying to
quite
edit
long,
on the fly. Yeah. Now, as an award-winning comedian who has headlined the Melbourne Comedy Festival on a number of occasions, would probably say, if they were me, Matthew, you spoiled my gag. Anyway, no hard feelings. You boys do a difficult job, and undoubtedly the thin blue line that protects us, the audience, from bad video game takes. Thanks as always, and if anyone ever needs some quick one-liners or hilarious shaggy dog stories for an after-dinner speech, hit me up. Love from Alex.
Alex79 there.
Don't really see how any dog shagging stories would be suitable at an after-dinner speech, but thanks, Alex. Appreciate that.
Would be at Crufts. I bet they love that.
That's
sort of
true,
content,
actually.
don't
Yeah,
they?
they
They
would.
love that content, don't they?
I mean,
Yeah,
Alex.
so,
Alex should be. I mean, he's lodging this complaint about Matt and the way he reads out the feedback, seemingly unaware that obviously this is going to be read out by Matt during the feedback section. You should have arbitrarily framed it as a question, and then.
Yeah, then we
should have
just got
snuck
into
it
it.
in. I mean, basically, it was too long, Alex, so I had to do what I could. So that's just, if anything, for next time, shorten it up. I mean, maybe get to the punchline quicker. I don't know. Like,
maybe get an editor involved.
Yeah, you really
I'm
got to
sorry.
like shorten it.
I'm sorry,
if you wanna beat
Alex.
There, you know, make it a bit snappier.
I'm sorry, Alex. You're welcome, listeners. Should we move on to the next one?
Dave M. Re Tom S.'s suggestion of a fitness club and your discussion about some kind of competition. I have a suggestion for both. A TCGS club on Strava. The app is free, and within the clubs, it can show everyone's recent activity, whether that's running, climbing, swimming, or walking. As a competition, clubs naturally show a weekly leaderboard for distance, time, and elevation gain, or you can see you've got the fastest park run time each week or something. All the best. I hope the treadmill running is going great, Tom. Cheers from Dave. Well, I've got good news for you people out there. I created a club today on Strava. So search for TCGS
Strava.
in the clubs. No, there's already people doing it. It's great. You can go to strava.com/clubs/TCGS or just search TCGS in the in the app. I've already added a bunch of people that I know as TCGS listeners to the club. In fact, Dave, I think I added you today.
What with that? Why don't add me? I don't want to be added.
No,
Why
not
would
you,
do
the
that?
person writing in.
Oh, good. Thank God for that.
He
I
uses
don't
it
wanna be
all the
added to
time.
that. It's just
Yeah,
I hate
I mean,
that.
James,
It's like,
this-
look, this is where I ran.
James, you're pulling a
I don't want
face,
people
but
to
you
know
do
where I
quite
ran.
a bit of cycling, don't you?
Yeah, I know. This is what I'm wondering about this. Is this going to be like... What is... okay, because I don't understand how this app works. I've got no idea how this
Oh,
works,
my
right?
granddad.
It just tracks your runs or cycles or.
I know, but that's
or
what I'm
whatever.
saying. So you have a club, right? But then does it specify what activity you're supposed to be tracking?
No.
Well, no, I've said it as a multi-activity club, so you can do whatever you want in Strava.
So could I set like a goal for like walking or whatever? You know, like a daily walking goal or something
you
like
can,
that.
but that's separate from the club will just record anything you do, whether you set goals for yourself or in the app or not.
Why?
But to
All right.
gamify it,
I
to
mean, that's
you know,
not the bad
watch
bit.
other people doing it. It's great.
That's why are you surprised by this bit? This bit's fine. What I don't like is when you post, "Here's my route," and everyone goes, "There, kudos." It doesn't say anything. It's like you don't care. Why are you liking that? You don't care.
Just you know, support
But then
other
you
people.
say
it's
that,
great.
Dave. But if they were posting all that stuff on Twitter or Instagram, whatever, you'd be
I'd
like,
unfollow
fuck
them.
off, keep it on the Strava app for fuck's sake.
Yeah, I just unfollow them. Okay.
Yeah, so if you're in Strava, search TCGS or just go to strava.com/club/TCGS. There's another running related question here from
Did
Roger.
you win
Hello,
your
lovely
competition?
humans. Huh?
Did you win your competition?
We agreed it was a draw in the end.
You agreed.
But
It
you
was
were
a draw.
like
That sounds like
100
there was some skullduggery.
What happened there?
Well, I was 100 and something ahead. She did 110 kilometer bike ride on that Friday.
So she won.
And then after that, we're basically exactly the same, like, and we said it's a draw before one of us
Okay,
dies.
that doesn't sound like a map move
This-
at all.
No, I mean
Does
it was like Friday night or Saturday morning, whenever
Right.
it was, and I saw we're both on like 672.2 kilometers, and I said let's end it, and kind of joking, and then. And she did like a 10-minute walk, and she was ahead. Anyway, it doesn't matter. Basically, we've agreed it's a draw.
She beat
We've
you.
agreed.
She
Yeah,
beat
he's
you.
agreed.
No,
She
it's a
beat
draw.
you. She beat you, Matt. She
No,
beat
it's
you.
a draw.
She-
I agreed it was a
basically,
draw 'cause she knew what it would do
She
to
said
you
it's
if
a
she
draw
did.
because
She beat
I was
you.
going to come home straight from the snooker and do like another like 6-hour cycle
Okay.
just to beat her. And she's like, So it's probably for the
Cool.
best.
Like, let's
Yeah.
just tell Matt it's a draw because he's going to die.
Yeah, it was basically that. Yeah, it was basically that.
Oh God, she beat you. And you
But
she
no,
won
no,
the
no,
hand.
she didn't beat me. It was a draw.
Okay.
100%.
Okay.
Roger, hello, lovely humans. Talk of fitness last week with the remarkable Tom S. listening to the pod while running on his treadmill. Well done on the weight loss, Tom. Has inspired me to write. Yet again, in a moment of weakness, I've agreed to run a marathon, and you boys have again helped accompany me through many cold and dark runs as I train for the Bob Burrow Leeds Marathon, which is happening on Sunday, the 14th of May. We're raising money alongside nearly 13,000 others for essential motor neuron disease research. If any TCGSs would like to make a donation, they can at justgiven.com/Paul and Rian, and Rian is RHIAN. So that's justgiven.com/Paul and just written the way you expect. Rian, which is RHIAN. It's a cause close to our hearts, and we hope you're okay letting people know about our fundraising efforts. In 2021, I ran the London Marathon, and James gave me a cheery "Good luck, Rudgy." So this time, can I ask that our Leeds correspondent, Matt, give me a "Go on, son," to motivate us around the 26 plus miles next weekend. Thanks, as always, for the brilliant content. It makes a massive difference every week.
Over to you, Matt.
Go on, son.
What was the accent
good.
for?
Just for, if I said "Go on,
as
son," it
normal,
wouldn't be as, I think it needed a bit of extra. Needed
All
some
right.
oomph.
Okay.
That's it, yeah.
Cool.
Well, I mean, amazing work, Roger. I'll no doubt see it on Strava. So yeah, good luck next. Is it next weekend? Yeah,
There's no
next
point trying to
weekend.
compete in the TCGS group next week, then, is there? Fucking hell.
Everyone needs to run at least 26 now. Yeah, So thanks for that, Roger. We'll also tweet the link out for your fundraiser as well. That's it for feedback. Go to tcgs.co/dear TCGS.
News, James. Let's roll.
Okay, Phil Spencer's been chatting about the Xbox quite a lot in the last week.
Yeah, yes.
So,
Glad to.
so first of all, he went on. It's the kind of funny. It's the X Games cast, yeah. So it's like the Xbox One.
Xcast is called.
That's the one, yeah. They talk about the Xbox and stuff. And so one of the things he said, I see it out there. I see commentary that if you just build great games, everything would turn around. It's just not true that if we go off and build great games, all of a sudden we're going to see console share shift in some dramatic way. We lost the worst generation to lose in the Xbox One generation, where everybody built their digital library of games. This is the first generation where the big games that they're playing were games that were available to the last gen. When you think about Fortnite and Roblox and Minecraft, the continuity from generation to generation is so strong. I see a lot of pundits out there that kind of want to go back to the time when we all had cartridges and discs and every new generation was a clean slate and you could just switch the whole console share. That's just not the world we are in today. There is no world where Starfield is an 11 out of 10 and people are selling their PS5s. So that was in addressing the whole games issue of,
I mean, he's not wrong, right? What he's saying there is not wrong,
No,
but
100%. I think it's correct. Yeah.
it doesn't change the state that Microsoft find themselves in currently.
No, I mean, even if I don't think you could argue that like Starfield being 11 out of 10 is going to get people to sell their PS5, but it might get people to buy an Xbox and play it. Do you know what I mean?
Sure, but but I don't think what he's saying is that I can't see it being a decision maker. That one game, that's not how
there's
it works.
no one game that's the turning point. Yeah,
But-
like
but-
it has
but-
to be a sustained campaign of quality
Yeah.
stuff.
Yeah.
It can't just be.
But
Well,
he
we've
says
got
that
Starfield,
quote-
like, you know.
He says that quote in a sort of defense or a look, things are going to change, blah blah blah, and we would say, yeah, but no, that's the problem. We know that one game isn't going to change things, and
Yeah.
it's got to be more than that. And at the moment, we're not even close to getting one game. So
Yeah.
that's
Yeah.
that's the problem. He's seems to be highlighting the issue as a defense for some reason, and I don't know. Maybe he's not. These are all taken out of context and quotes quotes and stuff.
Yeah,
aren't they?
this is
So-
one thing I've found interesting because obviously some people have been critical of some of the stuff he said. Like some people saying he's perhaps a bit too like, oh, we're rubbish. Actually, we know we're not good enough, etc., etc. But I think there's like, not that we should be grateful for it, but not many people in games are allowed to talk like this anymore. Like, because understandably the PR machine won't allow it. Like, yeah, I do think there's something to be savoured about how honest he is, even if
Well,
you don't
you say
like
that,
what he's
you say
saying.
that,
Do you know what I
but-
mean?
What else can he say?
But
Like, at
no,
this
I
point.
don't think it's what else.
Well,
can
he
he
can
say?
say
I can see what you're
nothing.
saying.
Yeah, he can
Sean.
say
Which is what
absolutely
we
nothing
often
and
get.
not appear on the show.
Yeah.
He can't say nothing though, can he? Because
But he
the
can.
fact
He can
is
do all
that-
the other execs do and say nothing and not go on the show.
Yeah.
And
That's not true though, because the other execs do say these things. They do come out and say when things have gone wrong and stuff like that. This is not. He's not the only one who does it. It's just he does it in a much better way than most of the others. Like he's much more. He always comes across very open, very being transparent and all that kind of thing. That's true.
Yeah, but I haven't seen representatives from Sony or Nintendo going on podcasts and stuff. And
Well, they
talking
haven't.
like
I mean,
this.
they haven't had to for a start. Like Nintendo haven't had to in terms of release
I don't
schedules.
think I
and
don't
stuff
think
like
Phil
that.
Spencer's had to.
Yeah, but then what's the benefit of doing this? I don't really understand.
Well, it's what he's always done, and it's we were talking about it last week. He's an incredible salesman, Phil Spencer,
Yeah.
and he fills you with hope. And I think his approach to the way he talks about games is his strength. I do, but
Yeah, like
soon
whatever
enough,
you think about him or Microsoft/Xbox as a whole, like he does broadly sound like he gets it, right?
Yeah,
sounds,
and
sounds
he's
like
very,
someone who
very
actually
good at
plays
his job.
games. And,
Yeah, he is very, very good at his job. I don't
Yeah.
think you can question that. Like, I don't think you can. But when a salesman gets to a point where he hasn't got anything to sell, like you
Starts to
start
sound a
to
bit hollow,
see,
doesn't it? Yeah,
the shine and the excitement that he builds up seems to that you can see through it a little bit.
in terms, I
And
think
I
he
think
had
that's what-
to. Sorry, go on.
I think that's what we're seeing over the past year or so, is someone that's had nothing, not necessarily to talk about, but he's had nothing to sort of celebrate, and you need that when you've got such a good salesman, when you've got such a good representative for your company, you need those wins for him to sort of clutch onto and
I mean,
and sort of make a thing out of, and he's not had that, and it's just coming across as a little bit awkward now, in my opinion.
Yeah, but I think
Yeah.
it had to like, well, one, everyone was just discussing after. Well, we're going to get to Redfall, but discussing the kind of fallout from the Redfall reviews and performance and the kind of impact that made on that release. So all the chat was about that, and then about where are Xbox going? Have they failed? Have they fucked it? Where are we? So, and he basically by going out there, he kind of this was in front of the Redfall headlines, and this was kind of like trying to direct the conversation rather than Xbox are dead. What's the point? They've done nothing. They bought the studios, no games.
See-
Now these games are bullshit. It's just basically trying to get ahead of that and trying to direct the narrative with his quotes rather than all the negativity around Xbox.
See,
Right.
I get all of that, and I agree with you on the broader exports point, right? But when he talks about Redfall, like around the marketing with this, I find this really weird. Like, this is what he said. He says, "I'll even go back to the Redfall videos on IGN of showing videos of the game running at 60 on PC, at the point knowing that the game was going to be around 30 frames per second at launch on console. Like, we have to be transparent about what we're showing. That we're showing is representative of what our console customer, our most committed customer to our brand, financially committed, what they're going to see and what they're going to play. And our transparency just has to be better. Now, the thing is, what I don't understand about that is that this is a game that has released, we'll talk about this later, in an appalling state, I would say. In a terrible state.
The FPS stuff is, if anything, hiding the rest of the
This
issues.
is nothing to do with transparency. This is about the fact that it's really bad. And the fact that it's... So if he's saying transparency, is he saying that before it came out, they should have just said, yeah, it's a bad game? Before it came out. What is he supposed to say there? I don't understand where the transparency comes into here.
It's almost, it's a bit of a... What's the dead cat? You know what I'm saying? Like, it's like they're holding out the 30 FPS thing as if that was like the main problem, whereas actually in the grand scheme of things,
absolutely not.
That's if everything else had held together, it would have been disappointing, but not the end of the world that it's 30 frames. It is strange that. I mean, like, you do wonder if like the thing he's not saying is like, surely a lot of time at Xbox is currently being taken up by the Activision shit. And is that why not every eye is on the ball that normally would be? Do you know what I mean?
No.
Like,
I don't. It's got to be more than that, because you're looking at a certain team of people looking at very specific business acquisition.
Plus, to be fair, it's Arcane, who we know can do incredible games, right?
See, and that's the thing, because there's another quote here when he talked about the development of Redfall, and he says, "We didn't do a good job early on in engaging with Arcane Austin to help them understand what it meant to be part of Xbox and part of a first party, and use some of our internal resources to help them move along that journey even faster." Now, what I don't get there is, like, Deathloop was fucking brilliant. Like, that was really well put together, and it was, David.
Well,
like,
compared
with Redfall,
that was Arcane.
It was
Leon, though, wasn't it? So that was the
that was a
team.
different Arcane,
but they've both Arcane teams have put out great stuff. So there's no like, you know what we said last week. There's no like B team, right, when it comes to Arcane. It's a strange one. Like, Arcane Austin did like Prey, and I think they both worked on Dishonored back in the day. So both teams have put out good stuff. You can't necessarily say but they did XYZ in Deathloop. So the quote about we need to do things, different expectation for a game, and even a team when you've been third party and all of a sudden you become part of first party. It's like, no, all anyone expected was another good Arcane game that's like all the other Arcane games, right? I don't think anyone was expecting this to be like, oh, now they've got Microsoft money, this is going to be even better. I don't think anyone was asking for that necessarily. I think if anything, when they announced it was 4-player, everyone was a bit like, oh, okay, why? Like, do you know what I mean? Like, no one wanted anything other than, whatever's next for Arcane, and I don't think they needed to diversify that much. Just a new setting and new abilities and stuff would have probably been enough. And I don't think the multiplayer is, I mean, we'll get onto this, I don't think the multiplayer is the problem with Redfall. Maybe it's what wrong-footed them in terms of development. I don't know. So obviously, I don't know, because, I mean, again, it's two separate teams, but obviously Deathloop had some multiplayer, right? But different kind.
Yeah, but Deathloop was like a complete game as well.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? It was like a polished, complete game.
That was originally developed for PS5. So again, totally different architecture. Maybe that's why it is different. Who knows? And also different team.
You can't. I mean, it can't be an architecture problem, right, for the Xbox, can it? I mean, it can be, because the port
of Deathloop is incredible on the Series S.
Yeah, right.
It's beautiful. So I don't know.
I think he went on just because all the conversation was, okay, Hound, the purported big release of Redfall has come out and it's been, kind of destroyed in the reviews. Like, what do we think about? Like, it feels like the kind of impression of Xbox at the moment is the lowest it's been in years. Maybe that's overblowing it. Maybe it's just like some people are saying that. And
no,
but
it's
it
not.
just feels like
that is overblowing.
We've been waiting so much. But we've been waiting for games for so long.
Right.
And this and that and promises, and then we get okay, we've the Xbox finally has a game, and then this is okay. Well, how many more times are we going to wait for like the game, and the
Sure,
game won't come?
but to say it's the worst impression of Xbox that it's ever been, I mean,
No, I didn't mean ever been. I mean in years.
After-
since the
after
Xbox
Xbox
One,
One.
right? Yeah.
Yeah, I didn't say ever. I said
was
I said in
about the
years.
I think
Right,
what
right.
also has hurt is like with Game Pass, right? We were saying last week it's been a very dry couple of months. I think with Game Pass, even when there was nothing big coming out for a couple of months, there was a fairly consistent number of like nice surprises on Game Pass. Whereas there's nothing's really grabbed me for a little while now on Game Pass.
No.
But I think it's also. I mean, they also went into like Paris Lilly, who was the guy who was like talking with him about this. Like went into the fact that they had like the last showcase last year. They said, we've got a 12-month plan, and he was like, you didn't necessarily deliver on all the games, and then Spencer was like, yeah, we didn't deliver on all of these, and this is the problem. It's the fact that I think we're getting to a stage now where it's been so many years of promising that there is stuff coming.
Right. And everyone else, like Sony and Nintendo, do the same thing where they have a showcase and they don't deliver on them, right? Like that.
But that's not, David. You can't compare like the output of like Nintendo or PlayStation with Xbox in terms of first-party releases.
I'm absolutely not. What I'm saying is that, like, if you look at it, their last showcase, I mean, I think it's a bit rough to go, well, you didn't deliver on these because Sony and Nintendo don't. All games get pushed back, all games get delayed or whatever. The problem here is that it's been consistently over the years. And whereas the games that when was the last time that we were like, oh, look at all these fucking games coming out? I think, Starfield is probably the last time I've got sort of really interested about an Xbox game. And that's been one in the past 3 years. I mean, Halo Infinite, even the build up to that, and which we all agree was, a half decent game.
Yeah, it was. Yeah,
Very, very good in multiplayer and stuff. But even the build up for that was so tarnished through what the development went through. When it was shown off, then delayed a year, and then all those sackings and the rebuilding. I can't remember getting hyped for an Xbox game. So no, what I'm saying is that I'm not saying, hey man, you can't have a go at them for that. I'm just saying the difference is that it's been consistently not delivering. Whereas like everyone doesn't deliver to some extent. Games get delayed. But with Microsoft, it seems to be consistently not delivering, and that's the problem.
and it's also because they announced quite a lot of stuff. And then because they gave a list here. You've got like Avowed, Perfect Dark, Everwild, Fable, State of Decay 3, Contraband. Like we don't know what's happened to any of these games. They've just disappeared, and that's odd. That's happened.
Yeah, I was in the cinema yesterday, and they had an Xbox advert, which I was surprised because I've not seen one for a while, and it's for Diablo, and people that love that game will love that game, right? I've got no doubt about that.
It's a big deal. Yeah.
But sitting in the cinema and watching it, I was like, I'm not blown away. Do you know what I mean? Because it's not about that. It's not about that. But I was watching it just going,
it's not an Xbox game, is it? You know what I mean?
Right.
Obviously, they would like it to be in future, but right now, it's
strange.
It's just like the pressure's on even more on Starfield, really.
Yeah.
It is, and honestly, I'm not so sure it's going to deliver.
So, not just
near
that,
as much as it needs to.
See, Starfield to me also feels like, I know maybe this sounds ridiculous, but a bit of a niche game anyway, like in terms of what it is. Like,
yeah. I think you're right, but then it's funny, isn't it? Because I think you could describe most games like that, right? When you think about it, Starfield is an RPG, an action RPG, right? Which I think you look at. Technically, God of War can be an action RPG. It falls within that envelope.
100% now, yeah.
So yeah, you're right. It is a niche game, but most games are. It's just on most systems you have a range of niche games, and that's what works.
Yeah.
Whereas
Starfield's now in the position of having to be all things to all people, isn't it?
Yeah, exactly. And it kills me because I don't like the way Sony go about things sometimes. I think they can be too strict. I think they could be quite repugnant when it comes to consumer to their consumers, right, and to the people that buy their stuff, right. So I want Microsoft to succeed, but you just look at them, the state of them at the moment, and I go, oh man, you are just not delivering. Like, you're just not delivering for me. And
we need them
sucks.
to succeed. We need actual competition.
Really,
like,
yeah.
Nintendo
seriously.
are killing it, but they've taken themselves in a different direction.
Yeah.
PlayStation doing their thing. Maybe Xbox are taking themselves in a different direction with maybe more of a gear or shift towards subs and a library of content rather than big tentpole releases and whatnot. Clearly, but we need competition. Like, competition is going to be better for everyone. If Microsoft is like totally fucks it, which feels like they kind of have in recent months and years. Like, Sony can basically do what they want because everyone's going to get that console anyway. Even console sales are absolutely killing it. Like, no surprise there. Someone said in the chat, I found it interesting. Like, someone that there's a whole generation of gamers who just think Xbox is that weird console that no games come out on and none of your mates have got. It's just like, and from someone who's got had like the original Xbox and the 360. And the one, and I guess had all the Xboxes. It's like, no, like, it's okay. They'll get back to their former glory in a way, because it's just we haven't. Their generation has not kicked in a way that if we're disappointed slightly with Sony's, then Microsoft are even worse, like waiting for like the big games to come.
Right. But I don't know. That's not the experience I've had. Well, certainly in Harry's school, like Harry's school, they're all on Xbox. Because they've all got the S, right?
Right.
So, like, when they're talking about playing online, when Harry plays online, he's playing Rocket League, he's playing Minecraft, he's playing Roblox on Xbox, because that's what all his mates are playing. So I don't know. I don't know if it is that clear cut.
Well, maybe this generation is starting to change that with the cheaper S, but there is from PS3, PS4, PS5.
There is also a lot of the games that like I found like my kids are playing that are all like cross-platform anyway. So people are playing on all sorts of. There's less of a buy-in, I feel, now to like a single platform because of the fact that you can, like, if you want to play stuff like Minecraft, you can play that on pretty much anything.
Right.
It's fine. Yeah. And it's changed that a little bit, I think.
I hope that means we end up with less tribalism in future as well. Like, if kids have grown up just being like, well, yeah, fucking. We all play Minecraft together and no one cares what anyone plays it on. Doesn't matter.
Yeah. He's just a hippie at heart. And
oh, come on. We all know console war. I mean, it's funny on the show, but it is like when you look at how other people do it. On people on the internet, you've met them. They're fucking awful.
Yeah, I do like that. I do like that Xbox better, PS5 better. I do quite like that though. That makes me laugh every time I see it.
Yeah, basically the For You tab on Twitter this week has just basically been accounts that are pro Sony or pro Xbox saying, well, it's over or this or that. It's just, thank God I don't see that every day.
Going back to Starfield, I think what worries me is, like, obviously we were saying, I can't remember if it was last week before, like, obviously there's the anxieties around it being a Bethesda game. They don't generally launch well. But also I was thinking this week, like, there isn't like a big space game that has launched well, right? I mean, last few weeks I was talking about Everspace 2, like that's great, but then that was in early access for like 2 years. Yeah. No Man's Sky, enough said. Elite Dangerous was, I think technically was okay until they tried to add like on foot stuff, and that was a fucking mess. And then you've got frigging what's it called?
Yeah, the Mass Effect Andromeda.
Mass Effect Andromeda. Not the one I meant. Fuck, I've forgotten what it's called. The really insane space one that has the massive commitment to physics and realism
Eve?
and shit. No. Fuck, I'm getting really annoyed when
The
I
Outer Wilds.
Not the Outer Wilds.
You're not talking about that one that's like
Star Citizen.
That's the one.
Yeah,
the one
that's
that's
Biscuit. Yeah, Star Citizen.
Yeah.
Star Citizen.
Which you need like a $2,000 PC to run it properly.
Oh dear.
And it still barely works. Like, so it'd be very interesting to see where Starfield sits on that sort of scale, right? From like arcadey to ultra realism, and how much of a mess it is. I mean, joking about No Man's Sky. Obviously, technically it's fine now, but it took some time getting there. So I don't know.
Cool.
Yeah, I don't know. The whole situation is just, it feels like it's been building up to this. Now we've got Redfall. We've got this interview. It's just, oh man, I just want some positivity for Xbox, and we'll see what the summer showcase brings.
Release a new
It's
pad,
all right.
baby.
I mean, Phil's positive about the showcase because that's what he said. He said it was going to be good.
Yeah, but he
so,
always is. Go on. Next.
But imagine if he was still pushing the like, well, we still haven't been allowed to buy Activision, so it's probably going to be shit. Sorry.
Yeah.
Next is that it says PlayStation Studios boss insists upcoming live service games will target diverse genres and scale. So before,
I hate this noise. Do you hate this noise? I fucking
absolutely
hate this noise.
Yeah.
I absolutely hate it. It's so it says that they've revealed that they're planning to have 12 live service titles in the market by the end of 2026.
Do we
March
like games
2026.
anymore?
I don't know.
It's,
Do
no,
we
it's
like games?
just nobody wants this. I don't think. I mean, maybe there are some people that want it, but
I'm not one of them.
I think
This
there's
makes
I
me-
mean, like within live service games, obviously there are different types and there's different audiences and nuances there. But I think this sort of statement ignores the fact that some people are just never going to like live service games. They're never going to be suitable for them, based on the attention span or the amount of free time they have or whatever, the amount they can invest in it.
What defines a live service
Well, I was about
game
to say
you,
that.
Sean?
Like, it feels like in the next, like, say, 10 years, there won't be a genre of live service games because every game, apart from
Have a live
maybe
service
explicit
element.
indies, they will all have an element of live service, whether it is an online or multiplayer or a battle pass or whatever. Like, they all
define
games,
it. What is it? What makes a live service game? What's the
It's any
I
game where you
define a
are
factor.
sort of perpetually connected to it, right? Where there's like there's an element
your
separate
brain.
from you and your experience of it. So, like Matt says, whether it's multiplayer or whether it's like like an overarching sort of progression system or whatever that updates, on a regular basis.
yeah,
right?
Basically, anything that's
new
trying to get you
content
to
being
like,
brought in.
anything that's trying to sort of gently remind you that if you're not on this every day, you might fucking miss out. Do you know
I
what
mean,
it's
I mean?
that, and
Right.
it's something which is there to generate recurrent payments.
And
that's the
Because
main function.
really,
of
like
this.
FIFA is a live service game.
yeah,
Yeah.
But
Right.
you wouldn't class it as that. You would class it as a football game. But that absolutely is.
I would
Has
class
live
it as
service
football game.
elements, yeah.
Can the name of the show be Football Game? That's it.
Um,
We'll save that for September. Great for
do you-
SEO.
Do you want to hear what Holst had to say about this?
I
This
do.
is Herman
Yep.
Holst. So he says. So he said that when he means like live services, this doesn't mean they'll all be modelled on Fortnite or Destiny. He says there is a risk that we talk about live service in generic terms, as if this is a single genre or even a single business model. PlayStation Studios are making a variety of games that could be referred to as live services, targeting different genres, different release schedules, and at different scales. So,
All right,
yeah.
but don't have a go at us. You said it.
But then the
You must know
yeah,
what
but
we
like I say,
thought when you
what
said
bugs
it.
me about
Are you
that-
talking to me?
No, I'm talking to Holst.
Holst.
Give it
Stop.
I don't know. Actually, live service games could mean anything. Well, don't fucking say live service then, because that's what they were doing, running around last year going, "We've got 12 live service games in the make." Oh, brilliant! Oh, people reacted negatively, did they? Just chucking shit at a wall. That's what it sounds like. See what
does,
sticks.
This is such a nonsense quote. Like it says here, well, you probably said this already. PlayStation Studios are making a variety of games that can be reversed to live service, targeting different genres, different release schedules, and different scales. So basically, different games. Like what?
Yeah.
What? Obviously, you're gonna make different games, but that means nothing.
I
You're
suppose
making different
he's
types of
making the-
games. They'll come out. Maybe they'll come out different days. The games, and they won't be the same game. Like,
Sorry,
we
have
get
you just
that.
broke Matt? Have you just having a breakdown? What was that? What was that sentence?
I just thought it's like the quote means nothing, does it?
All right, no, it
I
doesn't.
mean, I guess it's supposed to be a counter to like the stuff we've said, like when all right, Sony's got 12 live service games in the works, and we've said, well, we and everyone else went, well, that's too fucking many. How the hell are you going to maintain that? Like everyone's basically only got room for one or maybe two in their lives at any given point. So I suppose what he's trying to counter that basically by saying like, yeah, but they
Right.
won't all be Destiny, right?
See, this is why I don't agree that it will be that all games in the future will have live service elements, because I don't think they will. Because I think what we've seen from like the last couple of years has been that you can't. It doesn't work. It's not sustainable to
call
have
that.
that.
What
Not enough room
games,
for it,
like, when you think about it, what are the most successful games in the past 2 years? 2 years.
As in ones that launched in the last 2 years.
Yes.
I don't know. I was going to say Fortnite, but
Well, sorry, any game
Yeah.
like God
What,
of
are the
War
most,
Ragnarok.
what would you say the most two successful games are for the last 2 years? God of War would be up there, right?
Elden Ring,
Elden Ring would be up there.
Hogwarts.
hang on. How,
Pokemon
how are you defining success? Do you mean financially, or do you mean in terms
sales.
of?
Yeah.
Well,
Yeah.
yeah, sales and popularity and
No, but
critical acclaim.
but there'll be other stuff that's come out which is like live service stuff, which is generating like continuous recurrent
That's what I
spending.
mean. So like
which-
Fortnite is the
yeah.
one. Sure.
Right. But your point was that not all games in the future will have a live service element. And I think
No.
when you look at over the past 2 years, what the most popular games were in terms of, whether it's income over time, but sales and critical acclaim, they haven't necessarily been live service games, right? Especially
Yeah.
for the likes of Elden Ring, God of War. So
Well, that's
you
just it, isn't
kind
it?
of think you'd
Everyone's
kind of hope that
clamoring
James
to
is right
be
there.
like, obviously that there were live service games before Fortnite, right? So everyone's clamoring
Right,
to
yeah.
be the thing that not necessarily topples Fortnite, but certainly takes some of its market share and establishes
Sure.
itself as the next thing, right?
Yeah.
I just think I mean, yeah, not every game will have it, obviously, but it will be like when we used to say this is an online game. It's like, well,
Yeah.
no, they're all online to a certain extent, and
Yeah.
smaller games will not have that. But I think the term live service will just change. I think.
I suppose,
or
yeah, because
lose
that's an
meaning.
interesting question, though, isn't it? Yeah, like, are we in the future? Are there going to be games that have like a versus online component, but no battle pass, no seasons, no? Do you know what I mean? Or is it going to be that anything with any sort of online component has to have that service?
I think they will, because I think I still look at the live service thing at the moment as being, it's kind of like the loot crates kind of thing. It's it's where everyone like gravitated towards that. Everyone tried to stick loot crates into everything. I mean, you remember like Battlefront 2, they stuck all that into it, and it was awful. And then they roll this stuff back because it's not
you're
popular.
right. You're right,
Live
but I
service
think
been going
I
for a
think
while
live
now, though.
service is different though, because I think the definition of live service is wider. I think the concept of live service is a wider concept than loot crates. I think loot
Yeah.
crates was a very specific thing that people got tired of and angry of and saw through, and then inevitably publishers they overused it, right?
But I
whereas
do think you'll see the same though with things like battle passes though, because I think you can't.
Sure,
have
but I think
too many
it's
of them.
funny. The games that I play with Battle Pass, it's so not intrusive. Like it's just not intrusive. Even Rocket League, the games that I've seen with Battle Passes, they don't seem the same as loot crates. Loot crates were buy this and you'll get maybe this, right?
Yeah.
Which seemed to stink. Whereas Battle Passes, they just seem to be, look, you're getting upgrades anyway as you go through this stuff. If you want to get better upgrades, then you pay for a battle pass. And at the end of the day, if you play enough of the game, you don't have to buy the next battle pass. You'll earn enough currency
Yeah.
to get the next battle pass for free. I think it's way less intrusive. I think it's a better way of doing things. And ultimately, devs and publishers, they are going to look at ways of making as much money as possible, because they introduced the increase in game prices way before prices for everything went up, right? They can't push that any further. They can't start releasing £75, £80 games, right? Because I think that would just be.
I mean, they
so
will.
Well, when I'm talking like anytime soon. I think people are still trying to get used to £70 games. To do that again this year would be nuts, wouldn't it?
I mean, this isn't in the news, but yeah, like Destiny or Bungie have announced that the Destiny 2 kind of standalone season pass is also getting like a price hike from $10 to $12. So that's how they're trying to increase a little bit of extra there. But I think all these games will try and do that. I mean, I don't know how expensive it is to run a live service game. You've got to assume it's pretty pricey with the amount of content that's constantly getting generated and staff to run it and produce it and all that sort of stuff. And that's before you get onto other elements of servers and whatnot. But you've got to assume it's expensive to run. But they're going to try and eke out whatever they can to support these games, because so many live service games come and go. Because
I'd love to know what games look like in 5 to 10 years' time.
I was going to say, like, I really
scared
hope
to
if this is going to become more of a thing, I just hope more of these games are going to be built with one day turning the servers off in mind. Do you know what I mean? Like they're built in such a way that they can continue to operate in some form, and it not just be, oh well, that didn't work out, so it's fucking gone. Like there are ways to do it without completely killing the game.
Yeah,
And
I still want to
think
play
that's a problem.
Anthem. Damn it.
See, I think that's great, but I don't think companies are
Yeah,
going to do
they're
that.
not
Yeah,
gonna
no,
do
they're
that.
not. That's
That's
the
a
last
future
thing on their
problem.
mind, isn't it?
Yeah,
Yeah.
they were thinking, how can we sell you something different if you don't like this?
Yeah. Okay. Next.
Okay, so this is some sad, bad news. Because PlayStation are shutting down PixelOpus, who
Aw,
made
man.
Concrete Genie, and they're shutting them down. I mean, the Concrete Genie, it was nominated for like BAFTA Artistic Achievement Award, and they were currently developing, or they were developing a PS5 title with Sony Pictures Animation, and they're being shut down. This is the quote from the studio. They said, "As we look to new features, we wanted to say a heartfelt thank you to the millions of passionate players who have supported us and our mission to make beautiful, imaginative games with heart. We are so grateful." So that's crap, because Concrete Genie was
shame.
good. I enjoyed that
It was
game.
a flawed, not masterpiece. It was a good
Gem.
game.
Yeah.
Flawed gem. Yeah. So yeah, no, it's awful news. That sucks. I hope
really
they
sad.
all find new places.
It's one of those, because you always naively you still sort of assume that being owned by the platform holder
Right.
affords you a certain amount of security, but
Yeah.
no.
Not that much.
no.
Shame.
Okay, final bit of news is that Armoured Core 6 hype has driven up prices for the old games by up to 300%.
I'm gonna
Right,
raid all the cupboards. Get on, get on mine.
So, Sean, if you've got a copy of Armoured Core on the PS1,
No.
then that was selling for it was like $220 at one point.
Jesus Christ.
which is kind of
What's,
crazy.
so I've got Armored Core 4, Armored Core 4 Answer, and then I think 5. Or there might have been a press copy. I can't remember.
12p each. 12p
Yeah, I don't
each.
think
I'm gonna
so.
fuck about them
you
ones.
want the ones that are like basically PS2 and earlier, and then you're
really?
laughing. Yeah,
Well, it says here
it's that.
Armored Core 4 on the 360 is going for $35. It's useless to me, so might as well get it on there.
But yeah, so you must be super excited about this though, Sean, because we've not really talked about this on the show, but it's
I'm
like-
really fucking excited. Like the trailers have been so good, and it's it's just been really fucking exciting. And just
Anyone
seeing
else kind
everyone
of
else
hoping
get
it's
pulled
rubbish, just to see Sean's little face.
No?
This is what's interesting is if people are seeing that trailer and they're going back to the older ones, fucking hell, you're going to be disappointed.
Right.
I've got a lot of them haven't aged that well.
and then they play the new one and go, actually, we should have gone back to the older ones. That's what I'm hoping that
this
Sean
one
has
shit
to
as
come
well.
back on here and just go, it's terrible, lads. Or even better, Sean gets an early copy and he comes on and says, I'll give it a 10. I've completed it. I love it. It's the best thing ever. And it comes out next day and it gets like 2s.
Absolutely.
And everyone's saying it's one of the worst games that has ever existed. And it goes, and they literally bury it in a landfill in a desert.
It's
And
been funny
Sean's
because
going,
this was
no, they just don't
It's a 10.
understand.
so when the new trailer dropped the other week, and they're like, pre-order the full nerd prick edition. And I was like, do you know what? This is it, right? If I'm ever going to do this, this is surely the one.
Yeah.
Fucking, what was it, like $400 or something?
Oh, wow.
For the,
For
well,
what?
so there's
The
a
robot,
$250
Do it for
version.
research, Sean.
There's a $250 one, which comes with like a genuinely nice
Tank.
model of one of the robots, right? Which it's still not $250 nice, but it is
Right.
looks really nicely made. But the $400 one, as far as I can tell, is the same, but it comes with a garage for the robot.
Oh, wow.
And again,
Please get it.
quite cool,
Yes.
but not $400.
Oh, come on,
right, man.
Sean.
Get
That's
it.
what
no, well,
Patreon's for.
I'm saving that money for the Citizen Sleeper
Oh, yeah,
tat. It's not tat. It looks really nice.
I still
£200.
like you were showing the Citizen Sleeper stuff you were getting excited for, right? And I was like, oh yeah, I played that, and I still don't understand why you'd be that excited for it. Like I
that's
get the
your
Disco
problem,
Elysium
Dave.
stuff. I get the Disco Elysium stuff. Like I'm like, oh yeah, that was fucking I get that. And then with Citizen Sleeper, I was like, yeah, that's all right.
Best
Yeah, I
game
thought
of,
the packs
2022.
looked amazing, but I wouldn't buy them. But like, I
I think
thought
that with the Citizen Sleeper one, I think even if you were a big fan, it's quite divided up, isn't it? Like you could just get the art book or the tabletop RPG
the
thing,
game,
which
yeah,
does
the
actually sound quite
posters,
interesting.
the prints.
Like you don't have to get the fucking full set, really, even if
Does
you're
look cool,
a
though.
super fan. Does look very cool.
Okay. Is that it?
That is it. Yeah.
Let's get to what you've been playing. Let's start with the big release. It's Redfall.
Yeah, sure is. How long have we all spent on this?
I have not played it, so I'm going to go quiet
Okay.
and leave you to it.
Okay.
I streamed this on Friday night,
Mm-hmm.
and I really wanted to give it a chance from the start with my stream. I didn't have like I was just expecting something that was going to be kind of average, but maybe with some problems because that was the kind of vibe that I was getting off the reviews and stuff like that.
Yeah.
But I'd have to say that by the end of the stream, it made me actively angry. I think like by the end of it because
Yeah.
there's so much with this game that you're just like, even, I mean, I only played it for just under, I think it was just under 2 hours or so, and it was just like, I'm genuinely shocked that this was released. Like, I'm shocked that it was released. And what I mean by that is that I can understand, like, I've heard the excuse made that there's been games like Sea of Thieves and also, what's that other one? Grounded, right? That came out, where they were like, they released these and then they've like, iterated on it and improved it and all that kind of thing. I get that. That's completely true. But correct me if I'm wrong, but neither of those games were released for £70, at launch.
Exactly.
It's that they were released as beta like copies. This was not. Like this was released as a full game, that was supposed to come out, and it is the most unfinished. Like it's just complete. It just feels completely unfinished to me, like the whole thing. And I'm shocked that they released it. I really am.
Because I like I say, sort of hearing like the reading the reviews and stuff. I was still like, do you know what? Expectations thus calibrated. I bet I can still have a good time with this, right? It's an arcane game. Fundamentally, really like the sort of thing they do. Like, probably not gonna co-op it, but whatever. I mean, I've played like an hour and a half of this, and I am also pretty floored by quite how poor it is. And I hate saying that because I love Arcane. I think they make amazing stuff. I don't understand what happened here.
But that's the thing in it, because Arcane, like all of the Arcane games that I played before, have had like a really good level of polish, but also interesting as well.
Yeah,
and that's the thing that I find. That's one of the other things that I find most annoyed about with this game is the fact like the mission design is so tedious.
Yeah,
and like it's completely
and the world building and stuff as well just feels so, I don't know, just lifeless, just
it's so incredibly basic.
Yeah,
you find like letters and like bits of scrap, bits of paper and stuff on the floor. They I read like 5 or 6, and I was already bored about what it was trying to tell me or not tell me about the world.
And I read a review where they were talking about the atmosphere or whatever, it's like
atmosphere
exactly, and that's the thing, because the whole place is pretty much empty. Like if you walk around, there's very little to see, like across the whole map. But it doesn't even have like a sort of an oppressive feeling of like an atmosphere of like something could happen.
It's like,
because
the whole thing is fucking vampires, right?
Yeah,
it's never dark. Like it's like perpetual nighttime or sort of dusk-ish. But at no point, like the amount of times it was like, remember to turn on your flashlight, and I was like, why? What for? I can see.
It's very true.
Which it feels like, and we've heard about this with games before. Maybe that was something they wanted to do, but then after play testing, it was just like, no, everyone hates it being too fucking dark. Just make everything lighter. Maybe, I don't know.
But it's also the other problem with that is that the enemies, there's like barely any threat there at all, or they don't require any strategy to defeat at all.
Yeah, like, for those who haven't played it, you probably know by now anyway, but basically the premise is there's this town that's been taken over by vampires. No one can get in or out. Vampires are feeding on the population. Most people are already dead. But there's also this cult of humans who worship the vampires. So they're the cannon fodder. And then occasionally it's like, oh fuck, it's a vampire. Watch out, they've got cool abilities and they're really tough, and you have to stake them in order to kill them.
What do you mean stake them?
You don't. You just run backwards and just shoot at them a bit, and then.
I've been running forwards, James. I've just been sprinting at them with a shotgun and just blowing the fuck out of them and then stabbing them.
To stake them is that you need a weapon, but you get a weapon very early on, which is basically
a gun with a stick on it.
Stake in the end. So basically, you get them down to you've got their health down, and then you can press right stick to click in to do the final kill, basically.
And it looks terrible.
Like fucking vampires, right? Creatures of the night, hunters, masters of stealth, who fucking walk around talking to themselves the whole time. So you walk.
It's like you were reading out it was like you were reading out a vampire's Twitter bio then.
They literally just be walking around and you'll just hear oh, I do enjoy playing with my food or something. You're like, oh, right, it's a fucking vampire, right? Okay, I know he's coming now.
Wait, slow down. So, is every enemy a vampire?
No. So the vampires are supposed it kind of sets it up as if vampires are going to be like the big daddies in BioShock or something, right?
Right.
Oh,
Or the witch
this is
the
a real
Left 4
enemy.
Dead.
Not like the rank and file. This is like a big deal. And then you just fuck it. They dash around and they slash at you a bit, and that's. I assume they
take
get more
on two at
abilities
once.
later.
It's not really a deal. Really.
Yeah. I had two at once, and it was comical just how shit they were.
Yeah.
There was a big fire behind him, and I shot one in the back, and he kind of stumbled into the fire and set on fire and died. And then I just shot the other one.
That sounds good.
This is.
And they get stuck on scenery, and then just they're stuck on scenery, and then just swiping at you, and it's just
I've got.
It's just.
So I'm playing as the woman with the robot mate.
Okay, right.
And the first ability you get for her is that basically she can point at a location, and the robot will run forwards and cause a ruckus, right? It'll make a noise and it'll flash and stuff. And it's and it distracts the enemies. Fucking distracts them. They literally, you can be stood in front of them, pointing a shotgun at their face, and they're going, the robot! Shoot the robot! I understand, from a gameplay point of view, obviously I get it. It makes the ability, fun to use, because it guarantees you a few easy kills. But it's just unbelievable how silly it looks.
But even without that, Sean, even without the distraction thing, you can still just walk up to people and just shoot them in the head and they don't react.
Just be sprinting at people with a shotgun, just point blanking everyone.
Yeah.
So what is the game trying to be? This is what I'm failing to understand. You must see, what's the progression system? How do you get him from, what are your goals?
So it's it's open world, so you'll get a mission, and it's so very early on, it's these two helicopters have crashed, and here's roughly where we think they've landed. So go and find out what that's about, and then it's it's as if the joy is supposed to be in that traversal of I've got to get from here to here. I'm in a town where everyone wants me dead. And
which is very, very Dishonored, right? That is
a little bit Dishonored, a little bit Far
Dishonored.
Cry in a sense, I guess. Except, like we're saying, because the difficulty is so trivial and the town is so sparsely populated that you're just walking around and it's no one here.
I mean, you can run from point A to point B and encounter nothing.
Yeah.
On your route to the mission objective or whatever. And then you just get there, and there'll be a couple of people, shoot them, and you're okay, I'm done, and then that's over. And then and also the other thing, I remember one of the with the helicopters, I did that, and then I managed to get the component or whatever, and then a couple of vampires turned up. So you're thinking, okay, this is supposed to be a big old fight. They couldn't find me, and I just walked out. And that was it. And then,
so they do that thing. Do they do that thing where they're they're levels of stealth where they're looking for you, and then they're sort of just
not even that. They just go from around. They just go from question marks to there you are.
Yeah.
And that's kind of it. Can I just say, someone in the chat said someone's been listening to the IGN podcast. No, I haven't.
Neither have I.
But I think we're just both correct, coincidentally.
That sounds like the IGN podcast.
None of it
correct.
hangs together, does it? The first place you go to is this flare goes off at the nearby fire station, and it's like, oh shit, someone must need help, and you go there and you like liberate some people, and it turns into like your first like safe house, right? Which
That was weird as well, wasn't it?
it's so weird. Like the way it plays that cutscene of it all getting kitted out, which is basically just a series of more or less still images where the camera pans across, and it's like, oh, this guy's setting up a sofa, and this one, and then you walk, and and he goes like, oh, like your character says like, oh, I should probably like go and like check on everyone in the fire station, and then as you're walking around, like every NPC you go to, like 90% of them either have like there's always like a prompt to like talk to them. They either say nothing or they'll just go
Yeah, well, that's saying nothing thing. So I talked to a woman in she was the one next to the armory. I went to talk to her and she was just like saying nothing. I was like, what? Like she clearly is like a main character, to talk to. Nothing. I was like, okay, well, great. I don't know what that's about. And then it's because I hadn't talked because I talked to her in the wrong order.
There's
I was
a
meant to talk to
certain
some other dude.
there's a
And she's
sit-
like,
so
hey,
it's
go
like,
and talk to
this one and then this one,
Sheila. I was like,
yeah,
oh, for
yeah.
fuck's sake, yeah. And
But
then
like, but
talk to her
loads of
once,
them
repeat the thing, and then it's just
Yeah, but like loads of them, like they will say nothing, and then as you walk out the room, they'll suddenly go like, "Stay safe out there" or whatever, and you're like, "What the fuck are we talking now? Are we just?" And then there's that guy who's like, so you're inside the safe house, right, and the exit door is being guarded by a man with a shotgun, but inside the building.
Yes,
and it's like, mate, if someone wanted to get in, they could just kick the fucking
Yeah,
door, and
they'll
you're
be in.
completely useless. Why are you standing there? With it. And there's maybe this is picky. Tell me if I'm being a dick. I know you will. There's the second safe house I unlocked, right, is like the basement in this house.
Yeah, I did that one, yeah.
And the way you unlock it is you've got to turn the power on because there's a UV light pointing at the entrance, right? So the vampires can't get in. Okay. Except the way you turn it on is you have to. There's a garage next to it, and you either need a lockpick or you can hack. There's like a keypad on it. So you open it. You open the garage. You turn the generator on. It's like, right, cool, safe house unlocked. It's like, oh right, so the vampires aren't going to just walk into the garage that I've just opened and turn off the generator again. Like it doesn't make any sense.
Yeah. Yeah, when it said open safe house, I was like, okay, there's going to be a massive battle, big old fight, loads of things. No, it's just literally go in the garage and flick a switch.
That's the thing that it's missing the most as well. Like you're expecting a set piece, which never happens. Like there's never a set piece. Like there never is one. I mean, the other thing. I mean, you did the thing with the cars as well. You must have done. Like if you have a pistol and you shoot a car twice, like it doesn't matter where you shoot it, it explodes in exactly the same way. And it's just really, and then there's like this orange goo that appears on the floor, like in exactly the same place. It's really strange.
Although that is weird, I can understand it from a game design point of view, like in terms of just wanting that effect to be consistent for the player. So like if you're in the middle of a fight, you know how to strategically use like a parked car.
We've had red barrels like from gaming since day one. That's not offensive. What's wrong with that?
Not like, come on, not like this, and especially not like the after effect that you get from this, how it looks identical for like every single one. It's like treating those cars as if they are an exploding barrel.
Well, that's basically what they are, yeah.
But then that's also hilarious, right? Because you're traipsing around this map on foot, and there's cars, quad bikes, all definitely got fucking fuel in them because they blow up really good, but you can't drive a single one of them.
I've just looked it up. This is an Unreal Engine game again, like Jedi, Survivor. Unreal games they usually run well. Like what's changed?
That's the bonus of using something like Unreal, isn't it? Is that it's a known quantity, and
most of the kinks have been worked out, especially for third and first person shooters, right?
Yeah. I mean, that's the other thing. It doesn't feel particularly great as a shooter either. That's the real killer, isn't it? Because there's been comparisons to like, Destiny took time to find its feet. It's like, yeah, but everyone agreed from day one that it felt good. Like it was all the structural stuff on top of it and the story that was a mess. But there's not a single thing to recommend about
This-
this.
Right,
I mean,
so the weird
this-
thing is, so I played like an hour and a half. I was originally, quite into it before the reviews came out, and then I thought, okay, I don't need to play this clearly, but I wanted to play it for the pod after James you were streaming on Friday, and I think if I took it as just a random game that I played, I'd be like, well, it's not for me. It doesn't actually offend me, the stuff it's doing. It's just I almost wish it did. I wish it had evoked a stronger reaction. It kind of doesn't. It's like it was okay wandering around, nothing really exciting to do, but it didn't offend me. But it's like if you look at it in the context of this being a £70 highly publicized big, you would assume big tentpole release for Xbox, then it feels completely different. I mean, if this wasn't, also this doesn't feel very arcane at all. Again, I've only really played Deathloop, but that had like such a specific feel, and I thought it was really clever. I know you weren't a huge fan of it, David, but I thought that game was excellent. And this doesn't really feel arcane at all, and it looks dreadful. Looks absolutely dreadful at points. The AI is bad. There's nothing really exciting about it, but it didn't offend me. I mean, I haven't really read many reviews. I've seen some people saying it's like the worst release of the year. I'm sure there will be other games way worse than this. This feels like a solid 5 out of 10. Some people will really enjoy this, and maybe this is like a turn your brain off and just like shoot. But there's literally, there's no worry, there's no stress, there's no intrigue, there's nothing, not doing anything clever. But I don't think it's like, I don't think it's an absolute 1 out of 10 disaster that is should be offensive.
But then
I don't agree on that point. And the idea of like saying it's a turn your brain off, like, sort of game, whatever like that. There are really good turn your brain off kind of games.
there's better ones I could play.
100%, yeah.
It's shit. Like, it's the problem. That's the problem. I don't think it has hardly any redeemable qualities, honestly. And I don't understand how anyone
Right, because we're going up against or we're also talking about at the same time another very broken game, right? And I think we all come away from the other very
being
broken
Jedi
game
Survivor,
saying this is fucking brilliant. It's just broken, whereas this doesn't seem to be the case here.
Yeah,
right?
this is like, I'm not going to be keeping an eye out for the patches broken. Like,
yeah,
do you know what I mean?
Sure.
Whereas with Jedi Survivor, it's like, oh shit, new patch. I hope this irons out a few things that are unfortunately a problem in this otherwise very good game. With Redfall, it's just like, see you in 6 months.
Someone says in the chat, right, and John has been saying to me in the week, John Denton's been saying to me in the week, he said, I'm enjoying Dead Island 2, and it's not really doing much, but it fucking runs well. And that shouldn't be like a given.
Yeah, and that's had a really troubled development history.
Right.
Yeah. See, and this is the thing. Like we talked in the news about this stuff, like with Phil Spencer saying about we weren't transparent and all this kind of thing about the 30 frames, 60 frames. If I was on that podcast, I'd like to ask him, did you actually play Redfall before it came out? Like, because
he did. Yeah, but hold on, he would never he knows how shit that game is when it was coming out.
Yeah, they all know it.
If he's being transparent, why shouldn't he say that it wasn't very good before it came out?
That's not how these things work. There's a level of transparency.
Because ask any developer, especially in AAA space, like the amount of the game that comes together in like the last month is insane, right? Like things look so hilariously shit right up until the last minute, basically, and then suddenly the polish comes in. Like usually, suddenly the polish comes in and things start getting resolved. So it's not. I mean, because people were doing previews on this like a month or two ago. And they were all saying it was like looking really promising. Yeah. Those people weren't lying because they know how much a game usually improves in that time span, and you kind of have to give the developer benefit of the doubt, especially a developer with a pedigree like Arcane's.
Yeah,
like probably I don't think it was unfair to assume they were going to pull it out of the bag in the last couple of months. Sure. They just
this is why I also feel sorry for some of the reviews about. In particular Jedi Survivor, because it wasn't necessarily the same way for Redfall, but for Jedi Survivor reviews were very, very positive, and I think a lot of that was based on people who have experience in playing games early and going a day one patch sorts all this shit out, and not expecting it to come out a day one patch being there and it not sorting the shit out. So I do feel sorry for reviewers in that regard, because people are saying, well, you should make it very clear, and maybe you should do an update like on the day.
I was going to say,
broken.
are we? And I'm not saying games launching in a bad way is necessarily anything new, but are we finally reaching the point where it's really going to have to change the way games criticism operates? Like, is there
I
any?
think
there was
the
that
way that
debate
games
in-
criticism. Well, I think the way that games criticism has operated has changed a hell of a lot in the past 5 to 10 years, anyway.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah, we have
But
a
do you
lot
know what I
of
mean? Like-
reviews in progress now, don't we? Rightly
Yeah,
so.
yeah. Like, I think it's like day one. I think you can give a quick like, should you buy it or not? But I think the like quote unquote proper criticism, give it a month at least. Like, do you know what I mean?
I think the only
Yeah.
proper criticism is here. TCGS. Like,
Yeah.
yeah. And
I
we
agree with
go,
that.
we'll see next week, mate. Have a look.
Well, I mean,
That's
like joking aside, we've said before, haven't we? Like, one of the things we love about this format, the way we do things, is like, yes, we might tell you we didn't like something one week, and then the following week, something's happened, or we've experienced something, or something's changed, or whatever. And we hope people who listen to this know that our opinions on games are usually like an ongoing thing.
Yeah,
That
it's in
doesn't mean
progress,
that things
totally.
always change, but it's just
That's
it's
why I
always an
like
ongoing
how,
dialogue, isn't it?
especially with the larger games, we always seem to state how long we've played, like initially before we get into it a little bit. I also love the fact that why didn't you cover this? We didn't want to.
Yeah.
Well, you should. Well, we don't have to. So
No, I don't.
what do you want?
Yeah, but on the broken games thing, that's what's kind of the most sad thing about Redfall. I don't. Yeah, this isn't about all the crazy bugs and this and that. It's like it's just dull. There's just
not
nothing.
good.
Like
Yeah,
that isn't a
yeah.
bug thing. I mean, yes, they may choose to add or improve elements of the game, but it's not that. Like they could. It's just much more deep seated than just some bugs. It's like the game itself is just dull as dishwater,
Yeah.
which is kind of crazy.
It's like it's not often that a game comes out and you're like, do you know what? I should play some of their older games instead. Because I've always loved Arcane. I've never finished anything they've made. I'm like, yeah, I should go back to Prey. Actually, Prey's
Oh,
fucking
really?
wicked.
You don't finish any of their games?
No, despite
What was the?
loving most. of them.
I think I hated the ending to Dishonored. I did hate the ending to Dishonored.
It was a bit, Dishonored was very like, you killed some people.
Yeah.
You're
It was like you put. Look how much you feel. She was the daughter that you were looking after was drawing death.
Yeah, I thought definitely was excellent.
Naturally.
It wasn't quite what I expected it to be, but still excellent. And I played a little bit of Prey, the more recent remake. That's it. But I haven't played any Dishonored games. But there's such a level of kind of even just what I've seen of Prey and played, and definitely like there's just like a different level of kind of interest or intrigue to like the world and the world building and like the writing and how it's presented, and that just doesn't feel present in anything I've seen here really.
See, I still just wonder though, why release it like this? I mean, is it just because they felt they really had to because they had no choice?
I mean, or is it just that there was whatever's happened in development? They were just like, it's not getting any better.
No, I mean,
Do you know what I mean? Are they
would
just
need
done
a
with the
fundamental
project?
rethink.
Yeah, I mean
No,
that's the worry.
I think they
is
needed
that-
to release a game. I think they needed to release
possibly,
a game.
Yeah.
But doesn't this do more damage? Like releasing
Well,
something which
yes,
is so bad?
yeah, you're right. But also, when do you next release it? You got Starfield in September. They need months either side of that. It's. I think it had to come out. Well, I don't think it had to come out at all. I'm with you, James. Like I am with you, but I reckon that's probably what it was. Look, is 6 months? Are you going to turn this around to an amazing game? Well, no.
No.
Then we're not going to delay it to even further after
Yeah.
Starfield.
We're not going to burn more money by making this
Yeah.
1% better when it's not going to
cut their
fix.
losses at that point.
Yeah, did Arcane like just own up and say, look, this is going to take like at least a year to fix, and then it's like, well,
Probably.
we can't do that, So
It's
that's it
just
from
all
there.
those discussions that we'll never know, but clearly something has gone wrong here,
Yeah.
and as you say, it's
And
pretty embarrassing.
The worry is, so obviously Arcane have an amazing pedigree, but this would also be the first game they've had to like really support long term.
Right?
Is that the plan? Is there a roadmap for that, or were they basically, even though it's it's a looter shooter in a lot of ways, were they like, was the plan for this to just be like a one and done release? I mean, obviously I'm sure they were planning DLC and stuff, but were they planning for like a long term support plan for it? Do you know what I mean?
I don't know.
I bet
Sean.
the plan would. I bet
Answer
the
the
plan would
question,
be there.
Dave. That's it. Sorry, Matt. Go on.
Okay, then yes.
Yeah, I bet the plan would be there, but then it would also ultimately depend on how popular the game is.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
So I can fully see that being cut down, but who knows? I mean, maybe this is one of those games where actually, that it still does decent numbers, and actually maybe a lot of people will like subscribe to the Game Pass just to see how bad this game is.
Do you know, I love your optimism. This is the optimism that brought us Anthem is going to come good. Like at some time.
Well, yeah.
Let's move on. We've done that one to death. Let's get on to the only other game that we've got on our list this week, and that's Jedi Survivor. Sean, have you finished it?
No, I've been away half the week.
Oh,
I played like an
3
hour and a half in Redfall. That's it, all week.
Right, okay.
Because you're like 12 hours or so in, aren't you, Sean?
I was, yeah.
Yeah,
I'm
so
probably not that far behind you now, I don't think.
What planet you on?
Well, you get to. We're going to delve into it a little bit deeper. We're not going to be as strict with spoilers this week. So please, if you're still obsessed with spoilers of the opening, say 10 hours of Jedi Survivor, then please turn off now. But
I don't think there's much to spoil,
not.
right? I think it's pretty tame
So-
story-wise.
So the bit where you get to choose between the Shattered Moon and the other planet.
Right, so that's where I am now. Yeah.
Right, so I've done that.
Okay.
So I'm ahead of you, yeah.
Right.
The more I play it, the more I adore it as a game. Like, it's frustrating because it is still broken. I've had crashes. Have you got to the bit where you're spraying the dark matter everywhere?
Yeah.
Right. So my game crashed several times in that area.
Really?
And I was so close to going, that's enough. That's enough. I'm not playing this anymore until it's fixed.
Yeah.
And then
and not in a sulky way, just in a I want to play this part it's good enough
broken,
to yeah.
There's someone else I follow on Twitter who's like a Shinobi. Is like a big account. He tweets all the gaming news, and they're like, I'm loving this game, but I want to actually play it and enjoy it. So they're pausing the game.
I do understand that.
Yeah.
There's I'm at one point in the game now where I have 5 or 6 stances, which are various different. They call them stances, right? And they're not stances in the way that you would experience a fighting game where you're, where it changes your.
It's like
it's
like one weapon, but it's like all
it's a
high,
different
mid, low.
Yeah. It's a little bit like that, and I've got like 5 of them, I think, and I'm like, as I was saying last week, I was like, you can only carry 2, which makes me feel like I'm missing out with the others. And that only gets worse and worse. However, I would be angry at that if the ones that I'm using weren't absolutely incredible. Like, I love them. So I'm going in with normal lightsaber because it just feels right. And I'm using massive lightsaber, the heavy weapon.
Oh, shit, I don't think I've got that. Is that the 5th one?
Okay. It's fucking good. It's fucking good. Yeah, I think it is the 5th one.
Okay.
It's fucking good. The stance stuff. You got to break their stance down. Yeah, you don't need to do that with this thing. It's just, you just like wipe them out. It's just very slow.
So I think last week we said, oh man, there's a bunch of stances. How would you use them? So you haven't found that you're changing them based on the situation. You decide, I like these 2 and I'm going with them.
That's not true because I did for so they've got special echoes where they're like challenge areas. They feel like a little bit like horde areas.
They're fucking hard. I've only found one and it was a nightmare.
Was that the one with the loads of robots?
Yeah.
So I failed the first time, and that's the time where I changed my stance because I was like, none of my stances work with this well. So I went to the double lightsaber thing, the Darth Maul stance.
Oh, so the one I tried to do, you could only use the single lightsaber stance. And I think that's what fucked me, because I'm not using that. Yeah.
What did you have to do?
Just kill a load of dickheads.
Yeah, I did 150 dickheads I had to kill, and oh my god, it felt so good. It felt so good, because I had that force move that if you press, what is it, right trigger, left trigger, he sort of brings his hands together.
Yeah,
brings them all
that's
together.
great.
I was doing that and then just wiping them out. Charlie was like shaking with excitement as he would see me take down. And what was mental, 150 enemies in that area didn't stutter at all. Like no graphical glitch, no frame drop. It's clearly something to do with the environment that's making it so unstable, because it is shockingly unstable at times. You know, the graphical glitches, the as I said, like if you pan around, you see like a square of white before it fills in. All that stuff. It's so frustrating.
Well,
because
it's been interesting reading the sort of discourse around the PC version in particular, and how, you know, they said like it just seems to be certain configurations of hardware are having real trouble with it, whereas touch wood, mine's okay. And yeah, people have basically been saying it's because of this sort of prevailing attitude of like, so many PC owners are just like, well, my PC's a bit shit now, I'll just buy a new graphics card. Because 90% of the time, that will do the job. But actually, people are letting the CPU and, more importantly, the storage speed fall behind. Whereas, like, you know, I've got it installed on a NVMe, which, let's say, touch wood, has been all right. Whereas some people are not necessarily doing that. But then you would expect PS5 or Series X storage to be...
Yeah, I'm playing on PS5 and it should be lightning fast, you know. Some of the animations, I you know, a little bit of a spoiler to say, I guess, that you can ride things in this. And those tall animals are laughable. Laughable. Clearly they needed more work, and clearly they know they needed more work. But the animation of those things galloping is frankly embarrassing to be in a game in 2023.
And we talked about the animation. Like, loads of the animation in this game is incredible. So it's... don't know what happens.
God, yeah. Well, the jewels. I mean, every time I come across one of the bounty hunters, I'm like, fucking strap in. This is going to be fun. And it always is. It's always a lot of fun. One thing that I didn't know last week when I was playing is that you've essentially got a hub area, right, that you return to. It probably doesn't feel like a hub area to you yet, Sean, although... It's
suggested that it is, but I haven't done the thing of like going back after a while and being like,
right, okay, so I'm back, and it feels fucking fantastic doing that, going back to there, and, you know, going down to the bar and talking to everyone in the bar about what's just happened, and then going up to the shop and buying stuff, and then going up to the garden and planting stuff. I love all that stuff. It's wild because there's so much to this game, and every time I sit down to play it, I play for longer than I expect to, and I enjoy it like way more than I ever thought I would. And you know, the kids are into it, and I'm loving playing it or whatever. And you just think, fuck, man, if this ran at 60 frames and felt solid to look at, you know, this would be just one of the best games. Like, it would go down in legend as one of the best games. Yet here we are talking about its little fucking problems that crop up, and some of them not so little. I mean, you had a horrific moment this week where it looked like the game had
fuck me. Well, I don't know if it's the game's fault or if it's Steam, because basically it was so it was like, oh, there's a patch for Jedi Survivor, it's like 110 gig. And I was like, fuck off. And for whatever reason, like, PC just fucking despised it. Like, it was doing this thing that Steam sometimes does, where it's like it's downloading too quickly for your hard drive to keep up, right? Yeah. And it'll like, so the download will just fucking stop, and your hard drive activity is going through the roof, and it's really annoying. It's one of those problems that's like widespread enough that it's been SEO'd to death, but everything you read is like, try clearing your cache. I don't know. It's not really. No one really knows what the solution is. So it's frustrating, but I've only ever had that when downloading a game for the first time, never when I'm trying to fucking patch it. So it's like, well, like, I now can't play the game until the patch is done because it won't let me. But also it was actually like, I got 2 blue screens of death on my computer. That's how much it hated installing this patch. So in the end, I just had to uninstall and let it do it. Oh, that's it. Sorry, it said it finished installing the patch. I was like, right, cool, loaded the game up, and then it was like, you haven't got a save game. Like, it was like, I could press the continue button, and then it was just stay on like a blank loading screen. Anyway, I just had to delete the whole game and reinstall it. That seemed to do the job. But fucking.
James, how far in are you now? Are you near me or further
Can
back,
I-
or what's the deal?
Can I mention planet names or not?
I don't think they mean anything to most people. Yeah, go for
sure.
it.
So
So I'm on
I've just-
Earth, but
The moon.
So I'm on Jedi, and I've just hooked up with I can't remember her name. The
Right. The girl
hooked
from the
up in
first
what
game.
sense?
Yes.
not in the
Not
complete
not the
sense.
American teen sense.
No.
No.
It's,
In the
yeah.
complete sense.
Yeah. But I mean, I know what you mean about the. I've just hit a sandstorm that was raging quite badly.
Yeah.
But that was a bit that was quite funny in terms of like the mount that you're like riding, and that looked awful. Actually,
That was the
It
long
looked-
legged thing, right?
The long legged
It's
one. Yeah,
called
it's
like a flammel or something. And it's like,
Yeah, it's fucking dreadful.
right,
It's
well
so
done,
bad.
Star Wars.
Prior to that bit, I was very much enjoying it, like really
Yeah.
enjoying it. Apart from then I had that weird bug with the running backwards thing that was really strange.
That was incredible.
Yeah, it was very very odd. And
So is that where you've left it, where Cow is, running backwards? That's it, or has it been fixed after a restart?
well, that's the thing. Because I restarted it and it's now fine. Because
Okay.
I tried. Because the thing is, it went into a cutscene because it was doing it before the cutscene, like he was running backwards, and I was like, that's a bit odd. And then it went to the cutscene. I thought, okay, well, it should be fine after
it's
the cutscene,
moonwalking.
And then it continued after that. And then I tried doing the wall running with him running backwards, and it just
Oh, that's funny.
it completely went all over the place. It was terrible. But then I just
There's
restarted it, and it was
A
fine.
few tips that some people have said. Turn full damage off, and I was like, why? And then I got to like a big platformy bit, and I was like, yeah, turn full damage off. Because there were some bits
is
where.
that... Go on.
Go on. No, go on. I know
Is
what
this
you're
where
gonna
some of the sequence breaking stuff comes from? Have you heard about this?
No, what's this?
So basically, there are bits of the game where you can glitch it or whatever to skip certain parts of the game, which
Okay.
it is a thing in Metroidvanias. Like Metroid Dread had like specifics like it would sometimes change the way bosses worked and stuff. Like if you were able to sequence break. and do
Yeah,
things out of
that
order,
was great. Yeah.
really cool. Jedi Survivor just comes up with a screen saying like, right, you've just broken the game. So you can either go back to...
No, it doesn't, does it?
Yeah, because what was it? It was Andy Kelly had that.
Oh, I
warning,
saw
didn't he?
that tweet. Yeah.
And it
yeah.
basically, so it just says, look, you can either go back to your previous save, or you can carry on, and we're not responsible for what happens. It's probably not going to work.
Brilliant. I love that. I can't wait to see that on Summer Games Fest.
Because what's
no,
incredible is that someone's done the work of like knowing where all the sequence breaks are and putting that message in, right? I don't think
Well,
it's something
at
the
least
game
knowing
can just
where
sort
one
of
of them
check
is.
for.
Yeah.
So it's,
No, the full damage stuff is that when you fall down and it goes, "Wah!"
Yeah.
and then you reboot. It takes a bit of your health off, but they're
Right.
saying that doesn't really add anything, and it's
Yeah,
just
yeah.
annoying, especially in a game that does the whole checkpointing, not constant save stuff. So that was a good tip to turn
I'm
that
gonna
shit
do that.
off. I've turned off film grain as well because that was just too intense at times, and I just thought you're just making a muddy game look even muddier. So a couple of tips there if you're just getting into it, but
It looks really fucking ropey at places.
really,
Like-
yeah. And that's what's amazing. In some places it looks fucking incredible,
Yeah.
and then in some places it looks absolute shit.
Yeah, like
the-
the
like the-
opening scenes of Jeddah is like, okay, wow, this is suddenly looking really, really good. But just before that,
Yeah,
like a
like
bit
all
where you meet all the people before you leave Coruscant, it's like it looked like a PS3 or PS4 game. At
very
at
bad
points.
reflections on the glass. Even like because that was what I've said. I've been playing it with ray tracing off, and then it's the very end bit in Coruscant, and you get to the ship you're trying to reach, and it's got this huge this curved glass
Yes.
thing. Yeah, so I was like, oh, this looks really shit. I mean, let me just turn ray tracing on because I want to see how this is supposed to look. Looks exactly the fucking same. There's no
I
difference.
heard
It's
that it
not
doesn't
using
make
ray tracing.
much difference. Yeah.
I did think Coruscant looked very good in general. I thought it was cool because even as a Star Wars nerd, I didn't know the whole thing that like the surface of Coruscant is actually all constructed and the actual surface is beneath.
Yeah, it's just a massive city in it.
Yeah, I didn't know that, so that was really cool to me. It's like, oh yeah, there's this seedy underbelly of Coruscant. So I thought that was cool. I think but as you say, it's after that it's been in sort of equal turns, absolutely stunning or a little bit ropey.
Yeah, absolutely
Weird.
dog shit.
I mean, maybe it's not fair to compare, but I look at this and see the characters and I think God of War Ragnarok looked different to this. And maybe you can't
Well, I
compare.
mean, you say
That
that.
was like a single console. This is multi-platform, different team, different everything.
Yeah,
But I was
but
like,
I just played Kenna Bridges Spirits, which was a much lower budget and a debut game, and it looked fucking incredible.
But is this because, like Matt said the other week, it's because both of those games are targeted at only one platform, like
Yeah,
Kenna and also
yeah, but we're talking about EA and using an engine that specifically aims at multi-platform. It's not. I mean, let me think of a multi-platform game that looked incredible. There must be one. There must be
there has
one.
to be one.
There has to be one. But I mean, no, I don't think it's down to it just being focused on one platform. I don't think that's what the issue is. And what the issue is, I mean, as I said, they did this with the last game. The last game had exactly the same issues where some of it looked absolutely appalling, some of it had bugs, some of it was sketchy. This is a far better game than the last game, with all of the shit that came with that first game as well. Sort of tacked on.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I'm
it's
only
tough.
I'm only on Jeddah, so that's like the first planet you basically go to after Coruscant, and yeah, I'm really enjoying it.
Oh, it isn't? It's the second
Is
one.
it? Oh, is it? Okay. Okay. Well, I'm on the first one after Coruscant basically.
Okay.
And yeah, I mean, I'm enjoying it. I mean, things I felt like I liked the previous one, but it had a bunch of issues. And I'm like, if they fix these, then the next one will be even better. I mean, I think the map and objectives are definitely easier to understand and to see, and you don't have to do the thing where you have to go back to your ship. That kind of this stuff these are the improvements I wanted in the second
You
one.
do need to do that. You
Oh,
need
do
to
you?
play a little bit more. Yeah, well,
Okay.
not necessarily as bad as it was in the first.
Yeah, because
but I have
obviously
had a
now
few
there's fast
situations.
traveling and stuff, which is
Oh,
Was
I
that
suppose
not-
that
was
does
that not
help.
in the
Yeah, I
last
don't
one?
use that as much.
Was fast travel not in the last one?
I mean, I know we had to all
It can't
physically
have been,
walk
right?
back.
because you had to physically go back to your ship every
Yeah.
time.
Shit,
it
no,
was
you're
there
right.
was no
Yeah,
fast
yeah.
traveling.
Yeah,
That's one
so
of the
fast
things that
travel's
Bill
in,
moaned
which is
about a
good.
lot.
Map is
I
better.
still
and easier
don't
to
dig the
understand.
whole like meditation stuff. Like seriously, I just kind of think, oh man, you kind of like I don't really care. Why make the enemies respawn? Like what am
Yeah,
I
I know
gaining
what you
out of
mean.
it from this game?
And just the whole like
Mm.
like you go and fight a boss, there's a cutscene and stuff. I understand the cutscene not triggering a second time because you don't need to see it every single time. But it's the
Right.
fact that like you'll die at a boss and then the thing comes up saying respawn, and then you reappear at the
It
meditation
takes
point.
ages for the button to come up, and you press the
Yes,
button,
yeah,
and
which
then
is
it takes
annoying.
ages to load. Yeah.
But it's as if time has continued. Like you have actually died at the boss and then that's canon, right? That you reappeared and then
Right,
went and
right.
tried again. Not like,
Yeah.
oh well, that never happened. Let's go back to the save point.
Right.
Which again just sort of smacks of like, oh, we'll make it a bit like Dark Souls, but not really consider why that worked in Dark Souls. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah.
But whatever. I mean,
Yeah,
it's not a problem.
it's what I said.
just,
It's not. Well, yeah, it's not a problem. We were talking about it last week, but it feels like very of that time when that first game come out, where a lot of games wanted that Dark Soul success. They saw
Yeah.
that as the way forward.
Yeah.
But sort of not quite understanding why it works so well in Dark
Yeah.
Souls. You know.
And I think Survivor does have that problem the first game had, where like there are so many. I might have said this last week. There's so many spaces that make sense for you playing as Cal in a video game, but make
Right.
no sense for the people who are supposed to be living in those spaces.
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
So like you'll walk into a room, and it's just a big, to you, climbable wall.
Yeah.
But it's like, well, who else is climbing up this fucking thing?
Well, I had that earlier on when I was doing a battle, and then like suddenly this like one of the robots smashed through like a wall, and then like appeared. And it was like, yeah, this is a cool battle. But then afterwards, I went in and I was like, okay, well, where's that thing come from?
Yeah.
And why is it just in a wall? Yeah,
Just
that happens
literally,
more
yeah.
and more in this
And
game.
you're just
yeah.
like, what was it doing there?
Why
Yeah,
hasn't
there's still,
anyone
like-
else activated one of these shortcuts? Why?
Yeah.
Yeah, why was this bridge not just down? Or yeah,
I can forgive the gamey stuff like that because it's
Yeah,
Yeah,
it's
I know,
not,
it's a video
not
game,
a
innit? Yeah, it's
massive
a video
problem.
game.
It's just
I tell you what, though, some of the Star Wars stuff in this is fucking great. Like, I can't appreciate enough the lightsaber building. Sitting there, picking each piece, coloring it, and it's way better than it was in the last game, and it was great in the last game as it
Oh, I
was.
didn't tell you, did I? Because I don't know if you've had this, Dave. Isaac's been watching me play this and didn't really enjoy
Right.
it. I meant to say last week. but he wants to design the lightsaber and my robot pal, and obviously it doesn't really matter.
Yeah.
It's just when, you're playing a game that looks really nice for the most part and has quite a good story, it does ruin it a bit when your lightsaber looks like it's made by fucking Fisher-Price.
Has he got all the bright colours on it?
Yeah, and it looks
Yeah.
awful.
Well, we had a bit of a problem this week where Harry made or built a lightsaber at Disney a couple of weeks ago. Charlie smashed the shit out of it.
Really?
Yeah.
No.
Only because they were having a lightsaber battle.
Okay, it wasn't vindictive. It was just,
No, it wasn't.
okay.
No, it wasn't Victor. It was a total accident. But Charlie just went for Harry, and it just burst. It just exploded.
Oh my god.
But yeah, no, piecing together that. Like, all Charlie wants, like, to be fair to him, is he just wants the golden blade. He keeps saying, so I want the golden blade. So my thing's always got to be yellow. But yeah, like that stuff. I also love like walking about and listening to the stormtroopers talk to each other. Like, there's something about that stormtrooper voice, right? That just it's so good. It's so good the way they talk and how they talk and interact and that sort of
because
like
it's
robotic sort of voice is just so good.
Because it's often not even like soldier chat, is it? It's like blue collar workplace talk, which is on purpose,
totally is,
right?
yeah.
It's
totally
that gentle reminder
that
that
sort of
they're fuckers, but actually
They're just real regular people trying to.
And I'll be honest with you,
admittedly for the bad side.
I was pretty blown away when I saw some of the characters from the first game, one in particular. I was kind of like, holy shit, yeah, I remember you. Fuck, here we go. Yeah, that stuff's been great. I tell you what though, not fully following the plot at the moment. I'm sort of just going places and doing things, and
it's a bit weird. I quite like it. So
there's
far.
a couple of reveals, and I'm going okay.
I enjoyed the main reveal that I've seen so far because it's like obviously it's going back to something which is that I don't know so much about.
What they're working on. Is that the reveal you're talking about?
Maybe, I'm not sure.
You see what they're working on? Because I was kind of like, this goes against some of the films. Like, what the fuck?
Well, I think all I will say is, like, so the Obi-Wan series, which I've only seen a few episodes of and did enjoy. I can't remember why I stopped, but so
you should carry on, Sean, because that basically gets good in the last 3 episodes.
Okay, cool. I did enjoy what I saw, but but that introduced the hidden path. Right, which if you're listening and you know what that is, then you know. If you don't worry about it. So that had already been established as a thing, and that is relevant in this, isn't it? Very, very much so.
Yeah.
So there was some precedent for that, but then there's a whole other element to this, isn't there? That I wasn't familiar with. Anyway, I don't know if you were, James.
Is this the new
the other
element?
Place?
Oh yes, I know what you're talking about. Yes, yeah.
Sorry, everyone. I'm trying to be cryptic.
You do know it's just going to be underwritten. That's the problem.
Yeah, because it can't too big an impact on anything.
Yeah, or have too big of an impact. Yeah. No, you're totally right. Also, I'm going to say something now.
Uh-oh. Strap in.
I think this might get some people angry.
Mm-hmm.
Guardians of the Galaxy trilogy is better than any of the Star Wars trilogies as a trilogy. I was playing this.
Yeah, go on.
I was playing this and going, fuck, I need a new Guardians of the Galaxy game. I need a new Guardians of the Galaxy game. That was a good game. I want a sequel. It's not going to happen, but I fucking want one. James, thoughts? Firstly, you've not seen the third film, right? And
that's true. Okay. My thoughts are this so far. I haven't seen the third film.
On my comment, right. I want your comments. Yeah,
the chat has lit up.
I know.
My feeling about this is that I think Star Wars does a better job of creating a universe and a world than Guardians does. It's like it definitely like the original trilogy. I feel does a better job at doing that. But as films, I'm not sure. Like which, in terms of how enjoyable they are.
What I would say is, which trilogy is better than the Guardians of the Galaxy trilogy?
You
gonna
don't.
say-
I mean,
I was
the
gonna say
only
the
one you could
originals.
go for is the
Toy
original.
Story?
Yeah. the
Right,
only-
okay,
yeah.
so now we're just down to the originals.
Well, the originals
That-
are the only even broadly consistent trilogy,
Well,
right?
yeah,
Yeah.
the second, yeah, but the Disney trilogy wasn't. Yeah, okay,
Oh,
right.
come on.
No, the last.
Oh, come on,
one with
the
that was-
the first
Episode
fucking
9.
Force Awakens was brilliant.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that was
okay,
amazing.
episode 9 wasn't that good, right? Okay, but right, so we're just saying that's the best one, the original trilogy, right?
Yeah.
That third film with the little bears taking down the. Come on.
Yeah.
Yeah, but then also you got the massive high point of The Empire Strikes Back, which is one of the best.
Very
films
good
ever made.
film.
Yeah.
Very good film. But then when Drax says stuff. How about that?
Oh yeah.
Do you remember when he says stuff, James?
It does, but then also,
He does.
but then also you've got to look at it as being, but also like things like cultural impact as well, like the original trilogy.
Oh, no, you don't.
You know,
No, you don't.
it's-
Fuck culture, I don't give a shit.
No,
What's the
I'd
better-
say I would say that the original Star Wars trilogy establishes like a new world, like the world building in that is just far superior than Guardians of the Galaxy.
Yeah, but all right, so it built a good world.
Yeah.
I would no, but I do play this and was like, oh my god, I want to spend time with those characters again because there are times. I think the reason why I mention that there are times where I play this game and it reminds me of Mass Effect and it reminds me of Guardians of the Galaxy because I think and we mentioned it when we were talking about Guardians of the Galaxy how at times it felt like Mass Effect because you felt part of a team that you cared about and that you look forward to talking to. And the second time I went back to the hub area in this game, which is way bigger than any of the hub areas in the games that I played before. It's like massive, right? The first time I went back there, I was like, I give a shit about what every single one of these motherfuckers have to say. I want to listen to them. I want to talk to them. And that's a hard thing to achieve, right? It is a hard thing to achieve. So I think when I play this game, as broken as it is, when you see the qualities of it shine through, the bad shit sort of gets pushed to a side. And I would say in like an hour-long session of playing this game, there's like 3 minutes of frustration, 4 minutes of frustration, and then the rest of the time I'm just fucking having a great time. Do you know what I mean? So yeah, it's hard to get too angry at the game because it is better, but it's easy to get angry at the game because it's so broken, right?
Mm-hmm.
I think so far for me there's been enough like it's really fun enough for me to just kind of try and ignore like the stuff that is not so great, I think.
Okay.
It's hard to ignore, but you can definitely forgive. And you know, in a month, I wonder where the game will be. You know, so
Well, this is
since
it,
I had
isn't it?
that first patch last week, which I think was just releasing on the last Tuesday. Doesn't mean another patch, is there?
There has. I'm
has
pretty
there?
certain there was another patch either like today or the day before or something like that because I haven't played it for a while and then I switched it on just now and there was a patch that it downloaded.
That's probably the giveaway. Yeah, must be that's the patch. Yeah, okay. Well, we haven't really heard about where we are in terms of future development, but yeah, I mean, if they just even if they fix the smaller annoying things, that I'll be happy with. I mean, they're not going to change everything, but yeah.
Right. Okay. That's enough.
I need to get that finished because
Oh no.
Yes, we all
'cause
do
it's
before
fucking
Friday.
Zelda on Friday,
There's
man.
no
Is it
way I'm getting
Friday?
finished by
It's Friday. Yeah.
Friday.
4 days time.
Okay.
You'll
I
get it done in
realised
4
because
days.
I had the
Has
day
anyone else
booked
dreamt
off.
about playing it yet? I have.
No, I haven't. I've got.
Well, I
I have
have.
the currently have the day booked off, and I realised that's stupid because it probably won't arrive till about 3 p.m. And by
Yeah,
that
that's
point,
why I went
can,
digital
I
because
can
I've
probably just look at keep an eye on my emails.
The problem is, if I was to put the day off, right,
Mm.
Joe would go, well, we need this, and this done.
Yeah.
So you got a day off.
Jobs to do.
Get that stuff done. So I'd only be sitting there while the fucking game just laid on the side there, So yeah, I will smash the shit out of that when that comes. I can't wait, but it's a long week ahead of me. A long week ahead of me.
So are
At
you gonna
least
try
I
and
haven't got the
get this-
playoffs to look forward to this weekend, so that's not going to take
Or
up
is
my
that-
time.
So are you going to try and get this done before that game then, David?
No,
It's not
I
gonna
mean,
happen, surely.
I'm probably a good 10 hours away from finishing it, I reckon.
You're
How
just
long
going
is
to put
it?
it down on Friday and that's it. Come back to it in a few months.
Yeah. No, I think I'll play them side by side. Because it's been my morning
Sounds like
game.
doing that.
Like
Apparently-
I wake up in the morning, I stick it on, I have a really good time.
Well, how long to beat? Saying 18 and a half hours for just main story, but then we're definitely doing extra stuff because we want to.
Oh,
right?
I'm
So-
totally doing side stuff.
Yeah,
Like I've been, anyone that comes up to me and says, "Oh, I've got a problem," I
Right.
go,
Good.
off I go.
Let me solve it
Yeah, that's where I've been with
with
that.
violence usually.
Right, that's what we've been playing. Let's get to questions. Sean Bell.
You want to send us a question, go to tcgs.co/dear TCGS. Maria Mendieta says, Dear TCGS, Congo Bongos. There we go. James noted that the controls in Redfall were, quote, a bit odd, end quote. Nevertheless, odd controllers could make a game fun. Donkey Kong Bongos, for instance, were superb, even though using them to tap, clap, and slap my way through DK Jungle Beat caused my neighbours to complain back in the GameCube days. Why were odd controllers prevalent during the PS2/GameCube generation, but not so much anymore?
Because consumers learned a lesson.
I was going to say, I
Well,
think it's just as simple as they were very fun, and then people stopped buying them, and no one wants to risk that.
Everyone
again, right?
wanted a novelty product, and then they realised that they didn't like novelty products.
House
and
is
then
full
it
of shit
went
now.
away.
Need
Yeah,
to-
lots of plastic.
Speaking of
in
which,
Langton.
I sent you a text in the week, and I nearly tweeted it, but I didn't.
Okay.
Do you remember when PSVR 2 came out?
Yeah, that
What
was
the
nice.
fuck happened there?
That was a good week, wasn't it? You
What
used it,
wild.
James, much since.
I've barely played anything. I played Redfall. That's all I played. I've played nothing. I haven't had time. But yeah,
I mean, and I'm not judging because I always say I'm the same with the Quest. Like I love it, but I will sometimes go like months without using it.
Yeah,
because it's
same,
just not
same.
in. I'm just not in the habit of like that being the thing that I turn on in
think-
the evening.
like,
But at
obviously-
least like the Quest is sort of like it exists because there's some sort of chatter about it. With
Yeah.
the PSVR 2, it was like everyone went nuts for a week and then it went silent.
It's totally on Sony on it. There's been no. This is
Like, really?
precisely what I was fearing was going to happen. Is it's just like they just.
I
put
mean,
it
it is
out
still
and then-
early doors, right? It's only been out 2 months, but yeah, it is really wild
so.
how quiet it's been on the PSVR
Yeah.
2. I noticed that Shop 2 were trying to sell it, so now it's not just available through Sony, right?
Yeah, they've
Right.
started. Yeah, it's elsewhere you can get.
But yeah, what a fucking weird. What a weird-
I mean, in terms of like recent novelty controllers, and I say recent, still going back, must be about 3-4 years. Drop Mix that Harmonix did, the card game.
Yeah,
It's a terrible.
Well, this
game,
is it. I mean, it just wasn't a good game, right? There was a bit of buzz around like the peripheral and the way it worked, and stuff initially. But yeah, again, just no interest because no one wants extra shit in their house. No one
Yeah,
wants
well,
extra
that's
peripherals.
it, isn't
Which
it?
is a shame,
You've got to remember
but you can't blame
these games were great and people loved them and they picked them up and they cared for them.
Mhm.
And then Rock Band come out, and as good as Rock Band was, and it was incredible, that took the plastic shit to the next level.
It was the
and
logical
consumers
conclusion,
learned-
wasn't it? It was just, but
Consumers learned they
Yeah.
didn't want to buy games with plastic shit that will definitely be in the bin or under a stair or whatever, taking up room within
Yeah.
6 months.
yeah.
I played Rock Band again on Friday night. It's still
Yeah.
brilliant. I don't think that
Fucking
game will
great
ever stop
game.
being brilliant.
All right, fucking hell, all right. I'm just saying that the people, consumers, don't.
No,
don't
yeah,
like
no, I get it. No one wants that stuff in their house anymore. But
Right.
it still feels as amazing as it did back in 2007.
Okay, all right.
And they're still releasing DLC as well. That also blew me away.
Really?
Yes, every single week. Yeah.
Kidding me?
No,
I
it's
thought they
absolutely
stopped that.
madness. No, they're still
they're doing
releasing
that,
like this
why
new
have they
single.
not-
Well, every week there's like a video of new tracks. They release like 3 or 4 a week.
Fuck.
Go on,
They
James.
Still.
release like a next gen version of it then. Like
Because no one would buy it.
No
It'd be
one
a
will buy
huge
it.
waste of
James,
money.
can you talk into the
I
microphone?
I would buy it. I would buy
Oh
it. If
god,
Would you?
he's got to edit the next one, Sean. Don't worry about it. Get him back. Get him back. You'd buy it, would you?
Would you?
I would buy it. Yeah.
So
There you go, like
150
Harmonix,
quid,
There's
the
one.
whole
one.
setup.
I'd love to play a Rock Band game again.
Wasn't the
It was
original one
great.
like 700 quid?
No,
No,
what,
like
Rock
450, wasn't it? Yeah.
Was it?
No, I imported it for like 200 quid on Rollmuck.
Right. Okay. I thought it
I
was
thought
more
it was
than
like
that.
170 or something.
Yeah,
like that. I
170, 180, yeah. It was
Oh,
that, yeah.
shit. My memory is so crap.
700 quid.
I imported it from Rollmuck as well through that one guy that was just buying them and shipping them over.
Yeah.
It was
We
so
had it like
weird.
6 months early, didn't we? 6 months before it came out in the UK.
Yeah,
Best thing ever.
Yeah, it was the best thing ever.
The best.
Next.
Eugene says, all right, lads, could you please give me some pro tips for combat in Jedi Survivor? I've been banging my head at the wall trying to get better at it, but I'm just plain shit. What are your fave stances, tactics, force moves? ? Sincerely, Eugene the Youngling.
I don't know what's going on, but you've mentioned a couple of times that you found a couple of bits hard or difficult, right, Sean?
I've been okay with this one. I struggled with the last game. This one's
same
been
here.
enjoyably hard. It's been tough, some of the bosses,
Right.
but I've enjoyed
I'm
the
pissing through
difficulty.
everything.
Are you?
Like, yeah, like nothing's coming close. Like, I barely die. I think
I
just parry all the time. Like,
Yeah.
that's the best thing to do.
I was going to say, like last week, I was talking about the dual wield stance basically has idiot mode for parrying, where you just hold the parry button and it uses your force meter, but it means you can just, you just will parry the next hit. I mean, it may be, Eugene, like an issue with your setup if you've got a lot of input lag or display lag, rather. Maybe that's fucking you up. Paul Workman blames his tools, but might be valid in this case. Yeah, in terms of tips and stuff, I haven't really got anything other than make sure you're using all your abilities, right? It's very easy just to sort of lock into the lightsaber stuff and forget the force stuff exists.
Yeah, and there's definitely times where I'm like, oh, there's two massive enemies there. What the fuck am I supposed to do? Because they're just battering me. Oh yes, I've got a move that turns one enemy
one
onto
new
another.
friend.
I'll just
Yeah,
do
yeah,
that.
yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
or just knock it down, mate. Honestly, if you, the older you get, the more you just go, oh, I've not got time for this. Just knock it down. Like, honestly, I get to that point now where I'm just like,
yeah, absolutely.
it's just wasting my time otherwise. So that's always an option. Always an option there, isn't it?
David J. Fury says, watching James stream Redfall on Friday night, I was really surprised with how fundamentally bad a game it looked and how far away from Arcane's normal output it seems to be. Arcane have made some of my favourite games. I love Prey and the Dishonored series, so with my 40th coming up in a couple of weeks, I was planning on getting myself a Series X with Game Pass to play through Deathloop and then Redfall. As well as Redfall looking to be a failure, people seem to be being a lot more negative about Game Pass and the type of games Microsoft are releasing recently. Don't feel quite so confident in buying an Xbox over a PS5. So my question is, in 2023, with all things considered, which console would you recommend, and does Game Pass still represent value for money?
Shit, that is good, isn't it? Where do we sit with this now?
I would say it does, and I would say if you haven't, you see, the thing is, if you haven't played anything like much for like a long time or whatever, then absolutely it does.
I was going to say, not to answer the question with a question, but yeah, when did you last have an Xbox?
Yeah,
because that changes the answer quite a lot.
Or even a PlayStation, like, because in terms of like multi-platform stuff, there's a lot of stuff on Game Pass, and it's totally worth it for that. Yeah. But it's less worth it if you've already played all that stuff pretty much already, and then what is there next is the thing.
It depends on what you're after. Yeah, value for money. Just on the value for money thing, undoubtedly, Xbox and Game Pass, you've got you've got a shitload of stuff to play there. That you'll be fine, and for future Xbox games, when they release them, if they're in a decent state, you can play them thanks to your Game Pass sub. But if you want kind of, the big huge big tempo releases, then that really kind of feels like you have to get a PS5.
What is that for Sony this year, do you think?
Spider-Man 2?
Is that definitely out this year?
That's what they've said.
Yeah, they have said.
It's not what they've said, is it? It's just
that's what they've said. Yeah.
Yeah, they've said this is this year.
Really?
Yeah, it's like I think September, November kind of thing.
Yeah, rumor is September.
Shit.
Yeah, so that's gonna be massive, and that will just be great because it's Insomniac. The previous two were amazing.
You hope that it'd be great. You'd hope it would.
I'd be surprised if it isn't.
Yeah, the previous two were fantastic.
I think I would be more cautious had Miles Morales not been as good as it was. I'm so interested to see how they make it decent. Like I can't wait to see how that game pans out.
I just hope it's not really bloated. Do you know what I mean? Like with just like loads of stuff. Do you know what I mean? It's like one of the things that was so good about Miles Morales.
That's what
was
Joe
how
says
focused
to
it
me at
was.
the end of like a bank holiday weekend.
After Toby Carvery.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, I mean, again, Insomniac know what they're doing. You like to think that they know what are some of the successful elements of the previous Spider-Man games, and
Right. But I don't think anything's a given anymore. I don't. I think Miles Morales come out during the pandemic, right? And we're now seeing a bit of a lag. I don't know. We'll see.
It's true. I mean, everyone thought that
hopeful for it.
Arcane always made really good games, and then Redfall came
Yeah,
out.
I am
like,
hopeful for it. Like
Oh, yeah,
I
yeah.
really hope it's as good as I want it to be. But we'll see.
yeah. But if you want these huge big releases, and I think kind of that's what PlayStation's for, and Xbox has the other stuff.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I'm really glad that I managed to buy both because I have very, very different experiences on both consoles. Like
Yeah,
way more
for
than I thought it
me,
would.
I've got a social console and I've got a single player console. That's the way I look at it. I play all my single player games on the PS5, and
Yeah.
socially, you can't be the Xbox. The way it all works, I love that Xbox Live still. And I still play Rocket League. I still play FIFA. I'm buying FIFA on the Xbox or EAFC on the Xbox this year. It's for that side of things. It's peerless in my opinion.
I mean, specifically answering the question, does Game Pass still represent value for money? Yes.
Yes, 100%.
Especially if you haven't had an Xbox for a bit. There's
100%.
plenty of stuff to dig into. I need to do one of them fucking lists. On those websites where you do the lists.
No.
But there's there's GG. What's the one, Ben, in the chat? What's the one you use that everyone likes? Backlogged. Is it
Backlogged, yeah.
Backlogged. Thank you. You can just have lists set up, and I need to have a Game Pass recommendations one. I think that'd be really useful because there's loads of stuff. But if you're just looking at it A to Z, it's just there's plenty of stuff you won't be interested in. I'm not saying there's fucking 500 games and every single one's a fucking banger. There's plenty of stuff you'll skip past, but plenty of good things in there too.
Right.
Next question comes from Lie 10 Up. To counterpoint the dark, gritty Hugo reboot from episode 349, what games or TV series would you give a cheerful reimagining to? As an example, Walking Dead has a bunch of children playing zombies, and when a character dies, it's really just a kid being called in for dinner.
I love that.
That's good. Yeah, I do like that.
Sure.
But to be honest, this just reminded me of. It was one of Capone's ones where he was talking about doing the World War II game, where you're just a kid using toys to fuck up the soldiers. Chucking a load of marbles down and a load of Nazis try and run over them and they all fall over and stuff. But then that's not really that's not really making
Indiana
it any more
Jones
innocent,
scenario,
is it?
isn't
No,
it?
it's making it worse.
Yeah, it's just a kid trapped in a real war. So I haven't got my own answer.
Yeah, no, it's tough, isn't it? Was it Nightmare on Elm Street?
Oh yeah.
And it's just the guy that wants to friends, isn't it? That's what it was. That's what it was. He just wanted friends, and the whole village turned on him, if I remember correctly, wasn't it?
I wouldn't know. I don't do scary.
Wasn't that what happened?
I
They
don't
put
know
him
the
in a
origins,
furnace.
but that does
Didn't
sound
they put him
great.
in They put him in a furnace. That was the whole thing, wasn't it? Were they bullying him, or
Yeah.
did he do something bad? He
I
might have
don't
done something
know.
bad. Actually,
Yeah,
maybe
you're
I
asking
shouldn't
wrong
wanna-
people. We do
Did
not
you
know
do,
the history of Nightmare on Elm Street,
No,
sadly.
James. No, James. You must have seen Nightmare on Elm Street.
I've never seen it. No, I don't know.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh right.
Could you
Okay.
do-
Right. I'm getting in the chat. He was a very, very bad man. Okay, he deserved it.
Yes. Never mind.
So maybe the reimagining is that he didn't do that, and everyone got on.
Hold on, wait a minute. That's the one with? Is it Freddy Krueger?
Yes.
Yes.
Yes, and that's all he's a really bad person.
Right. Okay.
Yep.
They did fucking
Maybe the
deserve it. then,
worst
didn't
kind
Really
of
bad man.
person. Dave,
Yeah.
I think it's time for a critical reappraisal.
Yeah.
Frederick Krueger. Could you do Requiem for a Dream, but they're all just well into vaping?
Yes. Yeah, and instead of the ending, it's just the rig fell apart. I don't know.
Let's move on. Rafi, Says, have you ever noticed any disturbing behaviour watching your kids play games? My nearly 5-year-old son has been playing Goat Simulator 3. One of his favourite things to do in that game is throw NPCs off cliffs and buildings. However, when he wants to stretch out his enjoyment, he'll lick an NPC, which sticks them to him, and then dangle their ragdoll body off the edge before letting go and watching them fall into the abyss while laughing maniacally. Sometimes he'll talk to them and shout bye-bye before doing the deed. He's expressed a recent interest to visit the Grand Canyon. Should I be concerned?
Yeah, do not book that holiday, Raph.
No.
Yeah, don't. You will not come back from it.
Yeah, we're back to like really limiting the time Isaac spends on games because they fuck it. Like, I know it's such a thing that our parents said to us, but they do rot his fucking mind. Like, he just goes really weird if he's on them for too long and just gets really like shouty and hyper. So yeah. So sort of limiting that again. There's a whole bit where it's really good fun, and it's like, oh no, he's like being increasingly incoherent and has nearly kicked my head on the sofa. So probably time to stop. Isaac sometimes so when he's watching me play Jedi Survivor, I was doing I don't know if it's a spoiler. The one of the bosses, one of the Jedi ones, and basically like. And it was great because I was on the ropes, but then I started like pulling myself together and started fighting back. And Isaac just started shouting like, "You're no match for us!" and stuff like that. It was proper good.
That's good.
That's brilliant.
But yeah, he's... Go on, sorry.
The only thing I've had with this really more recently see Rachel's really into The Sims at the moment, and she does all the usual stuff of
all the fucked up shit.
Yeah, boarding them up in rooms, that kind of thing, and just all that sort of stuff.
Can you still do the swimming pool thing where you take the ladder out?
Yes, I think.
Okay, cool. Classic.
Yeah, it's all possible.
But yeah, Isaac's had a go on the original Goat Simulator, which I've never played it, but I always had the sense that it was shit, and it really is. I hate it. I absolutely despise it.
What was that? Sorry,
the original Goat Simulator.
Oh, right.
It's just nothing.
Yeah, you hated that. Yeah,
it's just so many things that like are funny when they happen in other games by accident. But this is just a game full of them, and it's all on purpose, which to me just completely ruins the joke.
It was all right. I don't know. I don't know how this is going to play in audio form, but Charlie's loved it in every game I played that he's watching, where I fall to my death, right? He thinks it's hilarious, right?
Yeah.
When the character that I'm playing as falls down and into the abyss. But now I'm playing the Jedi game. He now tries to convince me it's a good thing to jump down. So this I took this was this morning. Ready?
Mm-hmm. What's down there? Down there.
So he's telling me there's a magic star down a canyon, basically. But oh god, hold on.
Just trying to get you to jump down there.
Yeah, so he's trying to get me to jump down there. Sorry, hold on. I've just inadvertently touched it. Here we go. Ready? Are you ready?
Get some treasure and
what's going on? Sorry, guys. One more attempt.
What's down there?
So you're saying get some treasure?
Then if you get it, you get some treasure, and then if you get the treasure. If I go down there, they'll get treasure, definitely.
Right, listen to this laugh.
Get treasure, will I? Yeah. Okay, I'm gonna believe you.
Right, listen to the end of this. Listen to the end of this.
What's funny? What's funny? You dying.
That's not something you want to hear, is it?
Incredible.
Yeah, so I know exactly what you're talking about.
Yeah.
You're absolutely bang on there, Raph.
I mean, for this, I mean, like Elodie, when we were playing 2 Point Campus and 2 Point Hospital, like removed, or she wanted to remove all the drinks machines and just put like laxative machines around the entire hospital, and had like one toilet which was miles away. But we didn't really get the impact we wanted. We wanted all the the patients to shit themselves. Didn't really happen. unfortunately. So that's still to be worked on. Also, we also played Mario Party this weekend together, me and Elodie. I've got a question, right? So when we played on stream, to get like a star and stuff, you basically, if you like if you went past that square, you got the ability to buy. Well, in the mode we were playing, you had to land exactly
You have
on
to land on it.
Yeah, it was
really
like a bit of a
annoying
nightmare.
sometimes.
I was like, oh man.
Yeah,
Trying to work
even
out
though you
the-
have free
That's part of
movement,
it.
if you've
it's
rolled,
part of it.
sometimes you need, you'll need either an odd or an even number won't you, to actually land on it.
Yeah.
That's right. Yeah,
and
and then
it's-
but you can
often
just
you
go
can't.
there, and it says you can't
Yeah.
can't stop here, or you
Yeah,
can. Like you don't need
Yeah.
to try and work it out.
Yeah,
Yeah, I mean, I
Does it
guess there's a
for it.
little bit of extra strategy, but I was like, oh, this is totally different to the one game I've played prior to this, which is one on
It is
screen.
that co-op mode is completely different. I think
Yeah.
it's better as well.
Yeah.
Like, it's really good.
Yeah, we did just the 10 turns, and we won in the end. We were like 4-2 down, and we managed to win 5-4.
You get your bonus.
Very good.
Bonus stars.
Yeah, lovely. I don't
I
know.
think
I mean,
quickly
maybe we
say-
won based on the coins. I mean, maybe it might be 4-4, but we won on coins. Whatever it was, we won. Brilliant fun.
I should say because it's relevant for a couple of reasons. So I was at a stag last weekend and I was hoping to get a bit of Mario Party on. So it'd be a laugh. Didn't happen. We did play some Mario Kart. Now,
Getting smashed.
I normally have to play with Isaac, so it's 50cc. I never let him win, but obviously I try and make it feel like a fair competition. Like I don't just fucking go off and leave him to it. Like sort of try and make it more engaging for him. So I'm always like, so I'm driving around 50cc, occasionally just be like, I need to just stop for a second. It's like, okay, he's catching up now.
I'll never do that. Yeah.
Fucking going from that to being in a place with other nerds where everyone's like, 150cc, everyone's pretty good at the game. Fuck me. Like, it's like I could feel the fucking wind on my face. I was like, oh my God, this is so fast. And I've like got to actually concentrate and just be as good as I can. Like, on it, that just felt absolutely incredible in comparison.
What we do with my kids when we play Mario Kart is we do team mode. So we're all on the same team. So it doesn't matter where you finish. You'll
does
just
that
beat the red
work?
team.
Oh,
Yeah,
shit,
in
I
races
thought that
as
was
well.
only in battle mode or something. I thought
No,
that
it's in
was-
races as well. You can go red team, blue team, and depending on where you finish, it all counts towards your
Yeah,
points
but
and
then he
stuff.
still sulks if he's like 6th or whatever, even if we're on the
Is
same
it?
team. Yeah.
Oh, shame.
Needs to get because the worst part is when he just plays on his own, he's really good. But when he's with other people, he's too busy like making comments or like looking at what you're doing, and that's when he starts fucking up. It's like, mate, just do your bit.
Yeah,
And
right.
you're actually really good at it, but you just
Do
like
you play
too-
the battle mode with him?
Yeah, he asks for it sometimes. It's all right.
I love it.
Do you?
The prison mode. Yeah, we have it. We
Oh
always
no,
have a
I
good
hate
time.
I hate the prison one. I can't stand it.
That's the one. That's the one. The three of you play it. The three of you play it together and proper
Yeah.
get into it. And we're like, there's been times when me and Harry and everyone else is in the prison and Charlie's just driving around and we're going, Charlie, come on, right here, right now, come on, over there. And he'll just like clip it with the back wheel. And we're like, we're going nuts. It's good. Love it.
Was there a battle mode with the balloons?
Yeah, that's
There's
one
different ones,
version of
yeah.
it. But yeah, that's. Matt, are you in 1994?
No,
What's going
because
on?
I was just thinking back to a previous week, and I was like, "Oh, battle mode." And you're like, "No one plays battle mode anymore, Matt."
Well, yeah, I mean that's right, but
But you do play it.
no, yeah, but you were saying it in the context of us playing it.
Yeah.
Yeah,
what's wrong with
I
that?
wouldn't play it with you guys.
All
I
right.
play it with the boys because it's nonsense.
Harsh.
You said it was great fun.
Yeah,
What?
with the boys, but you're not my son.
We're the
Matt.
boys.
I mean, we could
my
change that,
boys.
Dave. We could adopt us all.
Can we adopt him?
Can you adopt someone that's older than you?
Good
Let's find out.
question.
Yep.
Hold on.
Maybe we can
Let's
set
find
the
out.
legal precedent for that.
No, Dave, don't Google it. Let's just start the process legally and then find out.
Okay,
Don't Google
fine.
it. Don't ruin the surprise.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
do want to find out
I don't think you
Someone.
can. I think it's got to be somebody who's under 18.
who's older than you.
No, you can
And I'm
definitely
gonna-
No
adopt an
way,
adult.
not under 18.
Yeah, you can definitely adopt
Yes.
an adult.
Under the
I'm basing that
no,
off
you
the plot
can't.
of Ghosts of Tsushima.
under UK law, you can't adopt an adult.
What?
Whatever the motivation for your desire to adopt, yeah, you can't adopt an adult.
What if my dad dies and I want a new one?
What? So no one over 18?
Well,
That
no,
feels
you don't
incredibly
adopt-
harsh.
Hold on, Sean, you don't adopt. Oh, you're hoping someone adopts you.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, that ain't happening, mate. I'm sorry, that is not happening. No one's looking at you and saying, "I want to look after that one." No, there's better ones out there.
I think we should normalise mates just being like, I'll be your dad. Go on.
Go on.
Yeah,
Should we
that's
just
great.
do a spiritual adoption?
Yeah.
All right, call me dad now, Matt.
The courts might not recognise it, but God does. So that's fine. Right, last.
God, aka David Turner.
Last question comes from Harrison Hunt. He says, "My wife."
He's a bit of a what?
Well, going to regret making a joke in just a second. He says, "My wife recently suffered a stroke."
Right,
Yeah.
can't
Are we editing that? Are we?
do that again. Edit that out. That's outrageous. Sorry, I didn't read the thing.
It's all right.
Fucking hell.
I'll start again.
Well, we can't edit the video, so...
No, it's in the video.
Well,
Sorry,
it's gonna be in the
Harrison,
video
if you're
for
reading
us.
this,
Yeah,
watching
that's
this.
fine.
Whatever.
Go on.
Right. Last question comes from Harrison Hunt. It says, "My wife recently suffered a stroke and is going through rehabilitation, which is a very tough situation. I'd like to thank this podcast for cheering me up no end on the long drives to and from the hospital. I do also have a question. In an older episode, you spoke about the Anbernic emulation devices, and I bought one because I'm essentially doing a lot of waiting in hospital waiting rooms, and this is where I fit in a bit of gaming. My question is this: which classic games can you recommend to play on this device which are suited to being played in 10 to 30 minute chunks? Anything from PS2 and before?"
Advance
That's
Wars.
a question.
Advance Wars. You can play that. There's the Game Boy Advance version will be on there. Or whatever.
Really, 10 to 30 minutes?
Well, no, but you can pause it, can't you, or whatever? And then it's because of the fact that it's turn based. It's like it's fine. You know, if you've got to stop for a second, it's alright. You know, you can. Then
Is
go
that
back to
right?
it.
Is that right?
I would say Rhythm Tengoku. Is that how you pronounce that?
Tengoku or
That's-
Paradise or whatever they call
Yeah,
it.
Rhythm Paradise. Yes, 100%. I like. Oh my god, Puzzle Bobble. The amount of times I've got the Miyu Mini playing Puzzle Bobble on that thing is just perfection. It's so good to play on that fucking thing.
I went down. Get on it.
Well, when done,
Yeah, you
can
need
that be played
touchscreen.
on that Anbernic?
I mean, I can't. No, probably can't actually.
Yeah, it's also that was dual screen as well, wasn't it?
It was, yeah. It's
It was, yeah.
Yeah.
Older like arcade shooters. Well, I say older, newer ones are probably fine as well. But like, yeah, shoot 'em ups are good for that. I find something like Pro Gear is incredibly cool and looks gorgeous, and it's quite nice being able to sort of sift through that sort of genre without. You know, like when you're in an arcade, you're like, well, I'm not going to chuck a quid in one of these because I don't know which one of them are any good. Whereas when they're all just in front of you on an emulator, it's like, yeah, fuck it, I'll just have a go on each, and occasionally one will stick, and that's it's a nice way to go through them.
I mean,
James.
a lot of games from like the Mega Drive era or whatever will be pretty good to go for because a lot of those were designed. They weren't designed to be played for like hours at a time. You know, they're pretty short sometimes. It's
You can fucking tell. Dreadful game.
Just you talking about pause there. Yeah, another thing about Redfall, you can't pause the game.
no, you can't.
Like I got right near like one of the burning choppers, and I had to like do something with LED quickly, and I paused it, came back dead. I was like, why am I back in the safe house? Because you can't pause the fucking game.
Oh, because it's live, right? Because it's
Yeah.
it's built like a co-op game, right?
But,
Okay.
like, why?
Yeah, that sucks.
Anyway.
Also, I say, Harrison, I've been through the stroke thing with members of my family, and although I can't compare it to what you're going through because you know you're even as we all know you're even closer to your partner than you are your family. You know, fuck, man, that is fucking rough. What a rough situation, and I hope you're doing all right, and I hope things get as good as they possibly can because shit. That will knock you for 6.
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah. So we're all thinking of you, and we hope you're doing all right. Yeah.
Well, apparently our brilliant jokes are doing the job, so we've done our bit. You don't have to offer any support, though. We've already been doing it
Big
every
tick
week.
for this
Okay.
week.
Well, then, all right. Well, then I'll take it all back. Harrison. Go fuck yourself and
Enjoy
listen
the
to our
jokes.
jokes.
Enjoy the gags.
Real medicine, that's what this is.
That's it. Laughter's the best medicine. If a doctor ever says that, get a new doctor. What's that? Broken leg? Well, there's a little bit of laughter. It's still broken. Is it? Yeah, it is. Yeah. Is that it for questions?
That is it. Yeah.
Socials, Matthew.
Yes. No stream on Thursday, Sean. I'm going to assume not.
Oh no, shit! No, this is. Yeah, no, yeah, I will. This week. This is it now.
The opposite of what you said.
No, I was trying to, because there's been so many weeks where there's been different reasons for me not to, and I know this is finally the week where I can. So I'm gonna start doing what is hopefully going to be a series. I'm gonna stream all of Vertigo 2, which is this very well-regarded, relatively new VR game, but it's PC VR only. So I thought it might be a fun one to stream because it's one of those. Obviously, not many people are going to have access to it. But apparently it's quite funny and weird and daft, and so I'm going to start streaming that Thursday at 9 p.m. unless
Sweet, yeah, I've heard loads of good things about that, so I'm excited to see it. That's Thursday for 9 on Twitch, and Friday for 9 on Twitch. James is back streaming Hitman. Is that correct, James?
Yeah, I'll be doing that. Yes, yeah, I'll be back for that.
Unless there's another Microsoft kind of dud that comes out.
There's another shit game he'd rather play instead.
Yeah.
So they're both on Twitch at 9. Yeah, go to twitch.tv/TCGSco or search TCGSco in the app, find our channel and follow us to be notified when we go live on Fridays. Also, if you've got Amazon Prime and a Twitch account, connect them together and you get something called Twitch Prime Gaming, and they give you one free subscription every month to give it to another channel of your choice. Please go over to our channel. We really appreciate everyone who does that. So thank you if you are doing it already and you have done tonight. If you're watching live, and thank you if you choose to do it in the week. We're on Patreon, patreon.com/TCGS for exclusive podcasts. We'll be recording Maze in the next week or two, no doubt. The Patreon bonus show. We've got, hopefully for your consideration this month, on the video tier. Hopefully. Some other maybe bonus episodes of things, who knows. They're on Twitch, they're on Patreon, so patreon.com/TCGS. And the website's tcgs.co for links to our amazing store, gorgeous Discord, socials, pods, you name it.
Keep your eye out for TCGS Con North ticket announcements coming up soon.
Yes.
Thank you so much for living it. We hope you're doing all right, and we will catch you again next week.
Next week being the Zelda special.
Oh my god.
Can you believe
What's
it?
that going to be like?
For more video game chit chat. Goodbye. Good night. Love you.
Goodbye.